said, done all the pre-season with the AFL boys, and he'll play predominantly down back today.
Okay. Probably the first thing we all noticed was for the blue team, which is the stronger team, you've got Lockie McAndrew leading the ruck and Riley O'Brien in the lesser team. So I'm not sure what we read into that, but as you hear the siren here at Port Augusta as we watch this game get underway. So McAndrew is the first player to get his hand on the footy, gets it down to Sam Berry, who I'm sure is pretty keen to see if he can develop himself again this year as he finds Riley Thilthorpe on the lead, and Thilthorpe just gets back and quickly gets it to Josh Rochelle. So I guess the big question everyone's going to be looking for today is how much time does Josh Rochelle spend up forward as opposed to down or through the middle of the ground?
Well, you noticed early in the warm-up that Rash looked like he was doing a little bit of stoppage work there, so I would suspect at some stage he'll roll through there. It's probably also worth noting that Josh is kicking into a fairly stiff breeze at the moment. It's probably worth 2 to 3 goals going to the left of screen, as you would see from that kick.
Yes. Well, I think you've probably been a bit generous. Maybe 3 to 4, but it's difficult to kick into there as we see Josh Rochelle just kick it out of bounds in the full. He'd be disappointed with that.
So Tom Bell's got the ball now. You'll be easy to recognise him when he's got his elbow strapped up.
Yeah, he's a good size, isn't he? How tall would he be?
197.
Okay. And what position does he play?
So he'll play intercepting a defender. Obviously, with Mark Keane going down over the last week or so, he'll probably get a bit more of a role in that position at the SANFL level.
Yeah, just seeing a little bit of Luke Nankervis there winning the ball, and he's going to be someone who I think can get substantial game time this year. We've seen him be capable at the level, and we've heard he's had a great pre-season, so hopefully he can, get some team security this year.
Yellow team are just holding off the ball at the moment. Once again, Tom Bell's got a bit of possession through there. James Borlase, and it looks like Oscar Ryan on the far side.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? James Borlase is another player whose name's been mentioned, filling that role that Mark Keane, unfortunately, won't be taking up. And, of course, the other one is Jordan Butts.
Yes.
Chase Jones there, beautiful kick, finds Tex Walker. So Chase Jones clearly has had another really strong pre-season. We know he's such an athlete, and he finds himself on the wing in this strong blue side as Taylor Walker. If anyone is capable of controlling this ball and kicking into the wind, it's this man. And how's his pre-season been? Has it been modified very much, or has he done most of the work?
No, surprisingly, he's actually done most of the sessions. I mean, you're right. This one thing that Tato won't do here, he won't leave anything in the tank kicking this for goal. And it looks like he just slotted it through too.
Yeah, such a clever player. What people talk about, as you get older and there's some physical limitations, but yeah, the ability to be able to kick the ball like he does is just absolutely phenomenal. And how do you think, what are some of the options this year in terms of, how they manage him? How do you see it playing out?
It's a good question. I mean, they did it a couple of times last year. I don't think he travelled to Perth from memory. And we've actually ironically got 3 games in Perth this year, including the trial coming up in a couple of weeks' time. So I guess it'll be something that the coaches will thrash around. They'll probably bring Taylor into those conversations as well.
Just looking at the forward line, so it's Thilthorpe, Fogarty, Walker. Ben Keays is down there as the high half forward. Then you've got Josh Rochelle, and looks like Zach Taylor on the other half forward flank. In the middle of the ground for the blue team, it's Rankin, Dawson and Berry. So there's your first choice sort of front half of the ground as McAndrew gets up there again and gets it straight down to Berry. So Berry's 2 from 2 for clearances. There's Wayne Miller. It gets it long and the ball holds up into that breeze. So it is a bit fluky as Nankervis gets it to Bell. I take it he's a left footer, unless he's very, very two-sided.
No, definitely a left footer.
Yeah, that one there just landed a bit short as Keays gets up the ground and finds the footy, and looks like he's recovered from that sort of hamstring strain that we spoke about, or we saw earlier in the pre-season. Yeah,
so Keasy's been part of the main group probably for the last couple of weeks. He definitely was modified. Looks like Josh Rochelle's got a second shot on goal here. See if he learns from the first shot on goal.
Yeah, it was a nice bit of work there. Went back with the flight as we were talking, but you would think a little bit closer. Yep. Hopefully learn a little bit from the first one. Yeah, we enjoyed that a bit more. Actually, it was a nice little lull. The breeze sort of died off for him there, so he ran in to kick that fairly quickly as it was nice and still. Let's have a look in the middle of the ground here, because this is one of the rule changes this year with the line across the middle. You can't step across and wrestle. You must jump up at the footy, and what we've seen already is McAndrew just get over the top of Riley O'Brien and just tug it back, and Sam Berry has been the benefactor of that. Pretty sure the yellow team will be all over that this time, so we'll see if there's a change up from the Blues, and we'll see if Riley O'Brien can counter that advantage that McAndrew's had.
I'll just give the viewers at home just a bit of an idea of who's actually in the middle for the yellow teams. You've got Riley O'Brien, you've got Charlie Edwards.
Yep.
With the ball right now is Billy Dowling, and also Zach Foote, who's one of the train-on SSP's players at the moment. So that decision is obviously pending.
Yeah, nice work from Nankervis. Stepped around a couple. Found Riley O'Brien, who was pushing hard forward. He couldn't quite deliver it. Quick snap on goal, number 30.
Indy Cotton.
Indy Cotton. So tell us about Indy.
Yeah, Indy's he was Cat B sign-on towards the back end of last year. Some people might remember that. So his first full pre-season at AFL level. Bit modified to start with, obviously coming in from a basketball background. He was part of the NBA Academy, and the recruiting boys obviously liked him and tracked him for a while. So son of Jarrod Cotton, who used to play at the Adelaide Football Club.
Yep, and there you go, Riley O'Brien. Another nice intercept mark there. Got it through the middle of the ground, but cut off well in the back half there. Looks like Jordan Butts. Didn't look overly confident with the kick, which is probably an area where he's going to have to improve this year as the ball comes down to James Peatling.
So Braden Cookie's got the ball now. The coaches have been trialling him in a different position this pre-season, so you'll see today he's coming off a half-back flank.
I love that, and that's the exact reason why you see him there run away, have a bounce, and then put it onto the chest of Toby Murray. There we go. That's a snapshot by Tyler Welsh. Tried to dribble it through, but he had a player on the line. So Crows A-team bring it back in pretty quickly. Jordan Dawson gets his first kick for today, gets it to Keays, and I think we've become used to that, haven't we? High half forward, gets up the ground, and then you watch him go. He'll be bolting back towards goal as Steelthorpe gets it long. They're in behind the defence as Taylor Walker just shepherds it through. So nice bit of transition play. That's a coast to coast. That's from the kick out to Dawson to Keays to Steelthorpe goal. So nice bit of play there by the Adelaide Blue team. We
saw a bit of that synergy last year. That call that you said there. I reckon if you had $1 for every time you said that in a game of 2025, you would have collected.
Yeah, so just a nice bit of work. And I guess the other thing which is worth noting is when there is a quick point kicked, when the ability to get it in quickly just doesn't allow the opposition to get set in any way to be able to defend you. So you'll always see that if you get the opportunity to bring the ball back in quickly. Like the blue team did there, it's a distinct advantage. So Yellow responded with the last centre bounce. They got a clearance, 2 clearances to 1 out of the middle. We'll have a look this time. McAndrew again. Gets it down to Peatling. Peatling couldn't quite wrap it up. And got a secondary bounce. So the interesting thing about the rule change as well, the umpires will just throw the ball up a lot quicker this year. They're not waiting for the ruckman as Jordan Dawson gets in and gets a handball. Ball bobbles free. Lockie Scholl just out on the periphery, receives an outlet handball, and Riley O'Brien gets another touch. It's a great tackle there by Josh Worrell. Toby Murray couldn't make contact with that handball. Blue team looking at their options up forward. Looking inside, but going to end up bailing out, you'd think. As he gets around. Is that Charlie Edwards? Be disappointed with that.
Interesting matchup. We've seen a lot of pre-season during training. The match sims this pre-season has been James Borlace on Riley Steelthorpe, who's got the footy at the moment.
That's a big ask, isn't it?
Because yes.
James Borlace would be in the sort of low 190 centimetres, and you've got Steelthorpe well over 200. So, what's the thinking there? Is that sort of preparing him to, be able to play on some of the big gorillas that opposition teams have?
Well, in fairness to James, he's probably done it the last 3 or 4 years, because if it hasn't been Riley, it's been Tex. So there's been there's no sort of chop out for James.
No.
He's generally up against one of those two guys.
Yeah, just an interesting one there, and that's a little bit busy talking. Didn't quite see the exact nature of the 50-metre penalty, but I think Josh Rochelle thought that maybe Lockie Scholl played on and he went over the mark, but we're probably going to have to get used to that a little bit earlier in the season, because there will be some infractions with the stand rule that's been tightened up a lot, and also making sure people won't be allowed to encroach into that 50-metre penalty. Into the protected area. They've spoken about that as well. So Lockie Scholl goes back and kicks it. The one thing we do know about Lockie is ball use is excellent. Interesting year for Lockie, isn't it? He's at different stages been able to play 6 or 7 or sometimes up to 10 games in a row, but then he's found himself outside the team. So that wing position, I guess, is up for grabs. There's a number of players that have been trying out for it. So how's his pre-season been?
Yeah, ultimate, terrific runner, ultimate professional when it comes to his conditioning and so on. He's played in a range of positions over the last few years. Obviously played off a half-bank flank. Obviously Chase Jones has sort of slid into that wing as well. Maybe at this stage it might be, given that he's playing in the blue team, it's probably head-to-head with that other wing role. So as you said, finishes off really well there. One of the best kicks in the squad. Put that goal beyond doubt.
Interesting, Mitch Marsh. We saw him be a really dangerous forward in the under-18s. He's been predominantly trialling and playing on the wing, and we see him at the moment for the LA team, number 26, playing on the wing tonight. Just a little bit unlucky there. I'm not sure who was that. Might have just about claimed the mark.
Look like either Indy Cotton or Finbar Maley, one of the two. Finbar's number 36 there.
Yeah, it was Finbar.
We talk about matches-ups, and we talked about Tom Bell earlier. He's got the job today on Darcy Fogarty. For both James Borlase and Tom Bell, they've got some big tasks there.
It's interesting. Darcy Fogarty, how's his pre-season been? Because I know he had some issues with his foot or a toe that kept him out a little bit. First time, I must say, when I saw him, he looked... he looks really solid at the moment. We know he's always been solid, but just wonder, has his pre-season been a little bit interrupted, or has it been?
Not really. No, he's done pretty much most of the sessions. I haven't seen any modification. You're right, he did have some foot issues at the back end of last year, but definitely hasn't been nursed through the pre-season.
There we go, free kick there. Chase Jones wins that. Josh Rochelle. Max Michael, got a bit of strapping on that knee. Everything all good there? Yeah,
he had a bit of a tidy up in the off-season. Probably restricted him this side of Christmas. Sorry, the other side of Christmas. But this side of Christmas, he's been back in the main session, in the main group. So, hence the reason why he's obviously got that as a precautionary.
Yep. As we see some of the players start to rotate now, Jordan Dawson comes off. Sam Berry back on. Josh Rochelle now on ball.
So we've got our secondary rucks now. So obviously Riley's gone in there. Riley Thilthorpe up against Toby Murray. So Toby will do quite a bit of ruck work at SANFL level this year as a second ruck. So this is good for the viewers to see how he goes.
There's Bell again taking a nice intercept mark and delivering it well. Cook getting busy. So this is a nice counter-attack from the yellow team. Once again, Bell, Cook, Scholl, all elite by foot. I think that's one of the areas that you just have to be really good at, and it looks like you're getting some opportunities to get some of those players across half-back so they can distribute the ball.
That last play was pretty much, a junior version of what we saw earlier in the quarter. It was just instead of having Keays and Rochelle, Thilthorpe, and then obviously Walker, this one was, as you said, Scholl, Cook, Bell was in there as well, and then Welshie, that last line attack.
So just the throw-in being affected by the breeze there. The yellow team trying to lock it in their forward half. Just looking at behind the footy, you've got every player for the blue team is inside their own defensive half, so they're all really pushed up, trying to take up the space. was Billy Dowling on the fly through that contest. Couldn't quite hold it. It was just dislodged as Isaac Rankin wins that ball coming forward. Taylor Walker now is going to have to jump at this. Crows will be looking for a mark here. There's not a whole lot ahead of the footy, so they're going to try and blast it forward. Looks like Zach Taylor down there is the only player there. So he's done well to hold that up.
So what we're doing each quarter, just in addition to what you said earlier, is at the 15-minute mark, the high-performance team are just going to have a quick 3 or 4 minute break. Players won't come off, coaches won't go on. It's just an opportunity to, obviously we reduced interchange. We've only got 3 on each interchange today. So for the viewers at home seeing this going, what the hell's going on here? Basically that's the setup.
Yeah, also there's a couple of rotations. You can see Charlie Edwards comes on for Billy Dowling. Luke Nankervis is running out there for the yellow team, so he's going to drag someone off there. So yeah, just a little bit of control through this game. It's interesting. I don't think we've seen a couple of the new rules we've talked about. The last possession rule. I don't think we've seen a free kick yet for that. What you've seen that closely in the SANFL. What impact do you think it might have at AFL level? Yeah,
absolutely. We've been trialling that, or not trialling it, it's been running with that at SANFL level probably the last 3 to 4 years, maybe a bit longer. It's going to have some sort of adaptation for the AFL guys. We've had the umpires coming out to training for best part of probably 2 months for all of our match sims. So we've had practice adapting to that. Players seem to have adapted to it, but obviously once we get to home and away and there's points on the line, and it might be goal costs or free kicks accumulated, then we'll see the stocks rise pretty quickly.
Yep, okay, we've got the 2 main ruckmen back on now, number 42 and 43. 42 is Lachlan McAndrew, 43 Riley O'Brien. Ball comes out, Sam Berry gets a shot on goal, gets it up high, and the wind just held it up there. Team's battling for the footy, and of course the last disposal out of bounds is not adjudicated inside the forward 50 and defensive 50 arc, so
correct.
There won't be too many free kicks if the ball goes out of bounds close to goal. Keep your eyes on Isaac Rankin here. He's looking to get on the move. Oh, there's Zach Taylor. He did well to get his hands on it, but just couldn't get it to his boot. He's just holding his back there. Might have got pushed just as he kicked it and might have just jarred his back, but looks like he's going to be okay.
You mentioned Isaac Rankin there, one of our SANFL development players, Harry Boyle, who's generally one of our lockdown defenders. He's got a great job in front of him to follow Isaac.
Yeah, well, it's tough, isn't it? I guess when you're playing a trial match and you're on one of the absolute superstars of the AFL. Sam Berry getting a lot of footy, just got his hands on that one again, close to goal, but just couldn't break the tackle. So holding the ball, yellow team, into attack now. This one's a scrappy affair there. Looks like Wayne Miller getting the ball forward. Once again, that was a punch out of bounds, so it's not last touch, it's last disposal, so that'll be a throw-in.
Not too sure, but it's worth mentioning the guys who aren't playing today as well, Bix as well.
Sure.
I'll just go through them. So we've got Dan Curtin, obviously that's been well publicised, that with his knee injury, Jake Saligo, Sid Draper, Mitch Hinge, obviously Mark Keane, and Keays. He's obviously over in the West, representing West Australia. He headed over there. I think that game's there tomorrow night.
Yep.
Archie Ludowick, you'll see a little bit later on. And then Luke Pedler was laid out early this morning due to illness.
Okay. So what? Jake Saligo, what's his issue at the moment?
Jake's been on modified program the last couple of weeks, so I think there's plenty of pre-season still to come. So I would imagine Jake would be featuring over the next couple of weeks in the remaining trial games.
Okay. Finbar Maley there, good bit of work. A little bit of loft on that kick, but it got there in the end.
It's Cam Tahini with the ball now.
He should just make light work of this. Left footer, is he?
He's a right footer, so for those people who don't know, so Cam, originally from Norwood, actually originally from the Eyre Peninsula, came over, played at Norwood, was listed for the Geelong Footy Club in 2000, had a couple of years on the list during the COVID period, come back, and he's been with the Crows SANFL program the last couple of years.
Yeah. The reason I thought he was a left footer because he didn't look all that confident. I didn't think it was all that hard a shot, but he he was right in looking to pass it off because he made a bit of a meal of it, but as did Nick Murray there. He gave it to his brother. I'm not sure what's going on there, but Toby got it.
Maybe Toby called for it.
Yeah, and there's Cam Tahini again. So yellow team have got it locked in. And here's the first example of the umpires just throwing it up and neither ruckman being there. And I guess a little bit of a interesting one. No one around the contest sort of had the wherewithal to realise that and nominate themselves as a ruckman. Instead, the ball just fell to the ground. So I guess this is what games like these are all about, is to try and see some of these scenarios that may happen with the new interpretation of the rules.
Just feel like the game's got very scrappy all of a sudden. Obviously, fatigue starting to set in, as you would know, Bix, from your time. Yeah. Nothing better than actual match day fitness. Yeah. You can run for as long as you want and do as many laps of the oval, but nothing beats game day fitness.
There you go. And that breeze, really blustery at the moment, which is making it difficult. As Adelaide now just trying to work this ball out of their defence. Ben Keays deep in defence again from that half-forward flank. That ball's holding up, so couldn't get anyone to contest. So good work by, is that Luke Nankervis again?
Yeah.
So he's had a really nice opening quarter. Tries to get it into the middle of the ground. Finbar Maley jumps at it. We know he's good at that. He's got some good hands. The whistle blew. He's just... hung on too long there.
Hugh Bond with the footy.
Yeah, talk to us about Hugh Bond. He's found himself in that blue team, which is a great sign for him, and he's just such a competitor, isn't he?
Absolutely. He reminds me Luke Brown, who obviously played a couple of hundred games for the Adelaide Footy Club. Just puts forwards to sleep. Nothing glamorous about around Bondy, but one thing he'll do is he'll give you a contest.
So the yellow team again, nice mark at centre half forward. Held up there. The umpire's going to play holding the ball here. No. Tell you what. I think Keays wanted that holding the ball. He was sort of looking at the umpire and pleading with it, but no cigar there as the blue team comes out of that. That's Alex Neil-Bullen. Just misses the kick there. Looking for the outlet pass. And they were lucky to get away with that because it was a turnover at half-back, and generally when you do that you concede a shot on goal, but yellow team weren't good enough to put him away. As Bond's got it again, that's a nice kick out in front of Riley Thilthorpe. There's Neil-Bullen again signalling someone come at me, but in the end he puts it out into space, and you could have taken your pick there. Jordan Dawson mark it on his chest, or he quite rightly called back Ben Keays. It's one of the big growth areas for Ben Keays has been his set shot goal kicking. I think there's a lot of people that gave him flack about his effectiveness of his kicking when he first made his way to Adelaide, but the last couple of years it's just improved out of sight. So we'll see how he goes here in these sort of challenging windy conditions. Runs out to his left. Oh, comes back nicely. Goal umpire hardly moves. It's a very good kick, and he's going to be a very important player for Adelaide.
He does do a power of work at training. Anyone who's ever come down and watched training at West Lakes, one thing that you'll see is the amount of attention to detail he does to his goal kicking. So it doesn't surprise me that on such a windy day he slots that through.
Yeah, it's interesting as well. The position he plays, that high half forward, it's one of the most important positions on the ground because there's a power of work, and often you get players that play in it, do the work but have very little impact. But the really good sides have those players like Keays who gets up the ground but then hits the scoreboard. I think he might have been close to 40 goals last year, somewhere in the 30s, I think. So he's as good as anyone in the AFL. We know Geelong have got a couple of really nice small forwards. The Hawks have good small forwards as well. So, very important role that he plays.
Be handy having Isaac back at the end of last year. We missed him, obviously, in the final series, but he's back in his forward 50 as well.
Yeah, so he misses round one, is that correct?
Misses round one, yes, and then comes back for round two. Looks like we're back to our original setups in the midfield.
So nice work there, Peatley again. Oh, good tackle. Yeah, so the umpire there said didn't make an attempt, just accepted the tackle, thought that it was going to be a ball upcoming. Who was the tackler there?
Oscar Ryan. So Oscar Ryan, beautiful left foot.
Yeah.
Sorry, right foot. But he's found someone who does have a beautiful left foot, and that's Tom Bell. He's been racking up a lot of footy.
Yeah, and doing it on quality opposition. Ryan, as you said, when he was first drafted, watching his highlights tape, it's all about the kick. He's got beautiful touch and loft on his kick. Reminded me a bit of Bernie Vince, the way Bernie kicked the ball. He doesn't over-kick it and puts it into space for players to run onto. So let's hope that he gets some opportunities throughout the year.
Also, he's got similarities with, for those people who've watched the Crows for a long period of time, Tyson Edwards. Just moves across the ground really, really smoothly.
So some nice work there. Just great awareness from Michelle. He just realised that Bell just wasn't right up on the mark. So when he took the mark, he just summed up really quickly, saw that Riley Thilthorpe was behind his man in James Borlase, and then just played on quickly, one step, kicked it with some real penetration. And Thilthorpe now, really tough kick from here. The wind...
What would you do, Bix?
Well, it's blowing right out of the middle of the goal, so you've probably got to start it just right-hand goalpost, I would think. Otherwise, it's going to go left. I'm not quite sure he gave it enough. Fancy me telling Riley Thilthorpe how to kick a goal. The irony there. Great chase. That's a fabulous chase there from Isaac Rankin, and that's the one thing that he brings, is just that speed. And I'm sure he's very motivated to have a big year.
Just trying to make out who actually who got run down there, but I think everyone at the ground could see that happening other than the person with the footy.
Did Braden Cook maybe? Or maybe Tom Bell. I just can't quite pick up. We're a fair way away here calling this.
I know Harry Ball has been on Isaac. I just can't tell whether it's him at the moment.
And that's a good kick, isn't it? Kept it low, punched it really hard. Yeah, Braden Cook was the player. So I guess that's part of the transition, isn't it, when you go from being a half forward and a wingman and you go down back. Every mistake you make generally has much harsher consequences, and just didn't realise that he had someone stalking him from behind. And I guess the more you play in that part of the ground, the more you sort of maybe have that sense of urgency that doesn't allow you to get caught like that. So
Blue team have done well. They've kicked into a pretty stiff breeze and accurate kicking, 5 straight.
And a couple that have missed altogether, but yeah, like they look like the much stronger team on paper, obviously. So 5 goals against this, probably a 3-goal breeze, we suspect. Got 2 minutes 20 to play in this quarter. McAndrew again gets his hand a good 6 inches above Riley O'Brien. O'Brien's better once it hit the deck, but ball spills out to Wayne Miller. Just over kicks it over the head of Riley Thilthorpe. Borlase mops up. Nice run from defence.
That was Will Crane, left footer.
Yep. Ball back through the middle of the ground.
So a couple of the development players just linking up there. So that was Will Crane, originally from Sturt, played for our SANFL team last year, and then he hit Cam Dehenny on the far side.
Adelaide bounced back out of defence. Laird to Keays. Once again, it's just Keays has probably been the outlet kick for, I reckon, 4 kicks from outside defensive 50 as Isaac Rankin takes a nice mark overhead, gets it to Walker to Thilthorpe. Could be a walking goal from Zach Taylor. Does it beautifully there. Gets his opponent off the ground and then just walks in. That's just probably a bit of the difference in class through that whole movement there. Keays and Rankin, Walker, Thilthorpe all involved, and then a nice classy finish from Zach Taylor, who towards the end of last year was, the year before he played a fair bit of footy and was that small forward who kicked some goals, but a bit tougher with the lack of injuries. But we did see him play some meaningful midfield minutes as well, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can force his way into that really strong part of the ground for Adelaide.
And one good thing that Zach does do, he actually plays the role. So, as you know, every person has a specific role, and Zach comes in and does that as well. So, doesn't get ahead of the game in any way, just knows his role he has to play.
Yeah. So got about 30 seconds on the clock. Riley O'Brien on the move, trying to get a different angle. Get the ball back. So you'd have to say the blue team through McAndrew, and that was a clearance there from Dawson. Had the better of the centre square. Well, that's nice work.
Tom Bell again.
Bell, yeah, he's done really well, hasn't he, on that left foot. Ball gets socketed forward. There's Mitch Marsh. Gets his first kick, I reckon, at AFL level. Probably faring a little bit better than his namesake, Mitch Marsh, at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's the quarter time siren. So just the score there, the blue team, which is the A team, 6 straight to the yellow team, 1 goal 4. So that's a 26-point lead as we take a short break.
Bring it here, old fun. Did he have a quick looking board? It doesn't matter. On from there. Do that. Chance for the Bros. The veteran on the lips of nicely. Stand still, Michael Addy. He has lost it, Michael Addy. Misdirection. Over the back. Laurel on 2. Smith, he deserves one. Welcome back. Off Clyde. This time, still they go get one spins and it snaps. Ready for a chance like Isaac coming onto the boot. From the Adelaide forward again, a huge and he sneaks it inside the one post. What an afternoon he's had. He's turning out the machinations of the camp. He can do it all.
Put your hands together for your All-Australian team for 2025.
Yeah, pretty surreal moment. Standing up on stage with some of the greats of the game. Yeah, I'm just so grateful. And still probably hasn't sunk in yet, but I'm sure it will after the season. I think it's been built up over my 5 years at the Crows and then junior footy, all my junior coaches. Tex has been great, obviously Nixie, Dawes. Yeah, I can't thank everyone enough, and obviously I rely on heavily on the mids up the field, so they've been great and helped me get here, I guess.
I mean, I've got to say Nixie is a massive part of that, and Nathan Van Berlo, the mids coach, but also the players. I mean, I'm not able to play my best footy unless we're clicking as a team and really understanding each other's game and how we all work, especially as midfielders, but as a whole group. And it just shows how consistent we've been as a group, that, you know, a number of those guys have been recognised and unfortunately didn't make the final team, but I've got no doubt if they keep playing the footy they have been this year over the coming years, that they'll make the team one day.
Captain's on Wednesday, and to get ready for a big game against Collingwood, we're all really excited, so can't wait for it to roll around.
It's exciting for us to, you know, be in this position and look forward to Collingwood and just have a crack at it, to be honest. Just enjoy that process and have a real crack.
Done. Going to bed.
The thing I love about the program is the opportunities that come from the fact that we're at the Adelaide Football Club.
Being able to work on a match day rather than being in the stands was a good experience and definitely learned a lot.
Okay, welcome back here to Port Augusta, where we've got the live stream of the Adelaide Football Club internal trial. The blue team, which is the stronger team, pretty much the first choice team for Adelaide. They've kicked 6 goals in the first quarter, 6 goals straight, 36 against the Breeze to 1 goal forward to the yellow team. So 6 scoring shots to 5, but much more clean, or much cleaner and a bit classier as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this quarter. The yellow team, bit of pace there.
Zach Foote has kicked a goal.
Yeah, that's a nice bit of play. You can see his teammates get around him. So tell us about Zach Foote. He's a train-on player. Yep. Sydney rookie list at one stage.
Yeah, so out of Southport. So last couple of years he played VFL footy at Southport, coming off the Sydney list as well. I think he played a handful of games at the Swans. He's obviously still in contention for that final list spot, which I think that decision's pending in the next few weeks. But we've just seen just how powerful he's out of a stoppage area. So we had him and Tom McGuan, who basically did most of the pre-season. Tom was asked to move on a couple of weeks ago, and now Zach's still here. So we'll see how that all plays itself out. Yeah,
and it's such an important part of the game today at the AFL level is the explosiveness out of stoppage, and we just saw it then. He has got a turn of foot, and then to be able to use it like he did, kicking into the Breeze for a goal, that was really impressive. So that's why his teammates were excited. As Riley O'Brien, probably been shaded in the ruck, but he's probably been better at getting after it once the ball's hit the deck. There's Taylor Walker, just clever, read the ball quicker off the boot as he gets it over to Darcy Fogarty. And that's just a quick reply there from Adelaide. But
bit of experience coming out there by text.
A lot of people question whether Taylor Walker would go on and whether he would be able to play a meaningful role. But gee whiz, if his body holds up, there aren't too many players that read the ball as well as he do, that use the ball as well. So he's still going to be a vital cog in this Adelaide forward line, I suspect, this year.
It's so good to have Tex around too. As you know, he's been around the club for 15, 16 years, got through another pre-season, but just to have him out on the track during the pre-season, out here during the pracky games, and obviously once the real stuff starts, a wise head, it's hard to find those.
Well, particularly when you've got some young players. The game is 3 or 4 hours every weekend, but you've got 15 hours of training, and you've got Mitch Marsh and Archie Ludwig and some of these young players, and what they can learn off Taylor during the week is very important. There's Adelaide there through James Peatling, running out of the centre square.
I think James Borlow's just got a hand on that at the end. Touched.
Yep, so the yellow team through Luke Nankervis, bring it in quickly and roll around. It's coming up towards Toby Murray there. Good size, Toby Murray, 202 centimetres. This is probably his third season coming into.
Yep, so he came through mid-year draft, not last year but the year before, then unfortunately broke his ankle in about round 3 of the SANFL that year against North Adelaide, and then came back late in our finals campaign 2 years ago. So yeah, I think he's a really, really strong pre-season, so we're expecting big things out of Tobe.
Yeah, so there you go. That was Jordan Butts, and he gets it down. Free kick to Taylor Walker, gets it off to Josh Rochelle, and wow, look at that Breeze. He's kicked that from probably a step inside 50, and it's gone way over about half goalpost height through. A little bit lucky there. Jordan Butts, I think that's going to be the challenge for Jordan Butts. He's got the ball there, and I guess he realised he had Taylor Walker down the field, but just banged it as long and as hard as he could, not really with any direction. Adelaide got the free kick, or the blue team, and Walker used it wisely, but that's probably where he needs to improve if he's going to replace Mark Keane. Keane had a bit more confidence with his short kicking and his ability to come back through the middle of the ground and use the ball. Not without mistakes, of course. Mark Keane, he made a few of them, but backed himself in, whereas Jordan Butts just sometimes looks a little bit hesitant to use the ball by foot. So that'll be a watch, I guess, moving forward. So Riley O'Brien wins that one down with his left hand. A secondary ruck contest.
Crowd's filled out about here. Bix, we've got some good numbers.
Yeah, probably 4 o'clock start time, and a few people coming after school and after work. So big football town, of course. All the towns on the Spencer Gulf, and Port Augusta right in the heart of that.
What would it mean to a community like Port Augusta this week, having the boys up here for the last few days and visiting the towns and schools and clinics and so on?
Well, it's huge because we know we've got a lot of country members in Adelaide, the Adelaide Footy Club, but there's still so many people that just maybe don't have the means or the ability to get along and watch a game of footy at this level. So to be able to get up close to your heroes is enormous. And, you know, having grown up in Port Pirie and you know how sports mad country people are, just to, you know, if you get these sort of people like your heroes in your town, there's that old saying, if you can see it, you can be it. You know, there's a lot of belief that comes from that. So it's wonderful what the AFL clubs do through this community camp setup.
And of course, there's post the game, there's a huge signing session for the players. They'll stick around for an hour or so and before making their way back to Adelaide. Yeah, and the other thing as well is we talk a little bit about sort of the inspiring for the young people, but it's also the older people. I know that you know, my dad and a couple of his friends who are there in their 80s, they don't come to Adelaide anymore. They used to for every game, but haven't for a couple of years. So it's just another opportunity for them to get a look at you know, footy at the top level. It's and
a
of
nice
course,
mark there,
yes, and of course, Port Augusta is the heart of our NGA zone. So for those people at home that don't know much about our Next Generation Academy, so obviously we're aligned with North Adelaide. North Adelaide obviously has the Spencer Gulf region from Pirie right through to Port Augusta and Whyalla.
Yeah, Josh Worrell just took a really good intercept pack mark there, and what a year he had last year. Must have been so close to being in the All-Australian side, but unfortunately didn't get there, but moves forward. Dawson takes a mark, gets it off to...
Riley Philthorpe.
Yeah, and there's Isaac Rankin. This might look a bit easy, didn't he? So once again, that's probably been the difference between the two sides. The amount of times that the Blue Adelaide side have gone from deep inside their own defensive 50 to go the length of the ground. Generally, that only happens, like a score from deep 50 is only about, it's not very high. It's probably 10 or 15% of your score sources come from inside your own defensive 50, but Adelaide have done it pretty well today, which is a good sign for them. I'm sure the yellow team would like to restrict that a little bit more.
I think the pleasing thing is the consistency in terms of the key people who are getting their hands on the footy. And as we spoke about, just how positive last year was, and you know, Rochelle, Philthorpe, Keays, Worrell, who you mentioned earlier. You know, we've had Dawson's in the middle now, Sam Berry early on. So we're getting some people some players who are obviously pretty integral for us this year, and they're getting some good ball use early on.
Yeah. So just looking there. So it's been interesting watching the centre square. It's really been... Peatling and Dawson have been more the stationary midfielders for the blue team, and Berry's the one that's really ripping through and getting on the move. He won a couple early as he wins that one there. He's got good power with his legs out of the contest, and that's a nice bit of movement from Adelaide, taking it away from the density, getting it out to Zach Taylor. He got Jordan Dawson, sort of ran hard to receive that handball. He's going to have a look into the forward line. Taylor Walker lost his footing and didn't contest that one. And just looking who's marked that. That might be
Harry Boyle.
Harry Boyle. Thank you for that.
Yellow team look like they've put a player behind the ball here, Bix. Just a bit of an experiment. Obviously, at times throughout the course of this year, we might need to adopt that approach. So obviously with the breeze and maybe the scoreline getting away at the moment, it's an opportunity for Matty Wright and the yellow team just to explore with that.
Yeah, and the other thing as well is it's great practice for the Adelaide blue team, who are the stronger team, to just make sure they're a little bit more precise with how they go inside the forward 50. You can't just blast it in there when you're outnumbered, but that one there with the breeze at the back, I think that might have been Chase Jones or Sam
Yes,
Berry.
no, it was definitely Chase Jones.
Yeah, I just saw a couple of guys giving themselves high fives, but Chase Jones starting in the blue team, the stronger team, playing on the wing on one side, and you've got Isaac coming on the other side in front of us here in the commentary team. So, yes, now very one-sided, 10-1. Amazing kicking from Adelaide, considering there's quite a strong breeze. So they've been very efficient in front of goal.
It's interesting that you can put a +1 behind the footy, but when you get a beautiful kicker like Chase Jones, you know, long bombs straight over the top, doesn't matter how many people put behind the ball.
Exactly. So just run through the on-ballers for the yellow team, Jarrod.
Yep, so in the ruck, we've got obviously Riley O'Brien, which everyone's familiar with. It appears like it's Billy Dowling still in there, so he's going head-to-head against Ranks now. We've got young Ozzie McDonald, who's on Sammy Berry, and currently with the ball, and I think he's going to get this free right here now. That's Zach Foote.
Yeah, so that was a holding free kick against James Peatling. So Zach Foote, I was going to say, he's been impressive. He's just kicked into the man on the mark. Mitch Marsh couldn't hold on to it there as the Adelaide blue team forced the ball forward. Oh, the umpire there, that's pretty hot on that one. Had the hands free, and I think that's why maybe the umpire said to Oscar Ryan, got to try and get that out. So here we go, Alex Neil-Bullen now. That's a great kick, isn't it? That's experience. We talked about the opposition, the yellow team, having a couple of extra numbers there. So Neil-Bullen was lowering the eyes, trying to pick someone out. There was just a little pocket of space in front of Taylor Walker. Walker didn't move until Neil-Bullen kicked it, and then he just moved onto it. So two very experienced players with a great understanding there.
Just a wise head by Tex there. I think he realised he had a good mismatch there, and obviously Alex Neil-Bullen, who's also on the same page, just hit him up.
So that one there, he's blotted his copybook. Taylor Walker, we've been pumping him up all day, and just that breeze just pushed it across his body, and he's just missed to the left-hand side. As Braden Cook brings the ball back into play, finds Mitch Marsh. How's his pre-season been?
Mitch Marsh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mitch was obviously, as you referenced earlier, coming out of the SANFL talent pathway, played in the West Adelaide under-18s grand final side. So the start of pre-season, first senior pre-season for him as well. They obviously went softly up until the Christmas break, and then gradually build him up over time. And as you can see here today, he's going to play a range of positions. Obviously, he's naturally a forward. Would suspect he's going to be sort of that high half forward into a wing, and just great education for him. Obviously, he's a long-term pick for the club, and obviously without the strength of our forward program at the moment in our blue team, he's just going to be patient. His time will come.
Yeah, and just watching there, Adelaide on a free kick, changed the direction of play. That's not a great kick inside forward 50.
You mentioned earlier around Tex and obviously having out here again. Mitch Marsh is a classic for that, in terms of he gets the opportunity to rub shoulders with Taylor Walker, the most experienced person on the list, and I'm sure Mitch is soaking up every little bit of information that Tex is imparting on him.
Yeah, just a mistake there from the yellow team. Tried to switch the play, and with this breeze, made it difficult. Kicked it straight to Zach Taylor, and Zach Taylor just had a dinky little pass to Riley Thilthorpe, who's about 15 metres out with not a lot to do ahead of him. You'd think he'd kick this one rather comfortably. Interesting was Tom Bell who made the mistake. There's been about 3 or 4 players went up to him and just said, don't worry about it, get on with it, including Zach Taylor, who was the benefactor from the poor kick. And as we thought, Riley Thilthorpe had no problems putting that one through. It's going to be interesting, Riley Thilthorpe this year, who's such a dominant forward, all-Australian centre-half forward. Going to spend a little bit of time in the ruck as well.
Looks like he's going in there now, actually, as you speak.
Yeah, just wondered, it's going to be a watch for the different clubs and how they use the extra player on the bench. I suspect that some clubs will pick a designated second ruck, and I think Sam Mitchell might have talked about using Lloyd Meek and Ned Reeves, but looks like Adelaide at this stage, or once again, the talk has been that it's most likely going to be Riley Thilthorpe. Toby Murray up against him, so the two sort of backup ruckmen in the middle. There's Charlie Edwards getting the clearance, getting on his boot. So they're the blue team again. Win the ball at ground level, feed it out. Sam Berry. That's a one-on-one. The umpire has said that's a holding free kick.
Harry Boyle has got the ball now, so Harry played 12 to 14 games at SANFL level, and as you just saw there, plays real close checking games. So this is actually a really good opportunity for him to, as you mentioned earlier, just test his wits against probably the best small forward going around in the competition.
Now, Riley Thilthorpe's just taken the mark. Really tough kicking back into the breeze. I'd be surprised if he didn't try to open up the fat side of the ground. He's kicked it in there. Looking for a one-on-one with Taylor Walker. Brings it to ground. And there you go. two very experienced small forwards. It was Alex Neil-Bullen handing the ball up to Isaac Rankin, and sometimes we just come to expect that would be like shelling peas, and he kicked the goal, but it just slewed off his left foot there. As Braden Cook brings it back in to Mitch Marsh. That's the last couple. Goes out to Tom Bell. Tom Bell, really good size defender, 197 centimetres. Been impressive at times today. Left footer.
Comes from a BMX background as well too, so not too many people would know that, but he's actually a national BMX champion. So for a guy who's so tall, it's hard to actually wrap your head around that. But
it is. As we have a break, and we might have seen this in the first quarter at the 15-minute mark of the quarter. Just going to have a break, just let the players all get a drink. Reduced interchange numbers, of course, with the having two full sides playing, and so it just allows a couple of rotations, a couple of drinks, and a little bit of control to look after the players. So a BMX champion.
Yeah, it's. I actually asked him the question when we interviewed him. You know, how does that go when you're 197 and you're on a BMX bike? How do you get on a bike like that? He said they just make the bike bigger, which, upon reflection, is probably a bit of common sense there. But you know, big levers, you know, big force going through those legs as well. Did break his femur, I think the year before in his draft year as well too. So he's a 20-year-old who's still developing into himself from a footballing point of view. He's only played 3.5, 4 years of footy. So you know, our recruiting team have obviously watched him a little bit through the WA talent pathway, and just wanted to see him playing at senior level, and we gave him the opportunity to come over and play some SANFL.
Well, there you go. That's it's an interesting pathway indeed, isn't it? So we'll continue to watch him and see how he goes today. So the game gets underway. About a minute there. Jordan Dawson down to Rochelle. He's been impressive with some of his moments on ball. Left foot. Jacks it up deep. It's 2v3. Walker and Fogarty get the ball to ground. There's Isaac Rankin in there. There's Zach Taylor. Taylor Walker looking for his left foot. Has he got enough on it? I think there might have been a touch on that. It's Tom Bell getting back there again. So Taylor Walker had a couple of opportunities this quarter. Hasn't quite been able to finish them off. Oh boy, that was very nearly another mistake by foot Bell, but they get away with it. Ball ace, short. Charlie Edwards. So it's good size, big-bodied mid. Hasn't yet played a game for Adelaide, so he'll hopefully break through this year. Ball holding up in the breeze as Max Michaeloni takes that intercept mark and gets it into the middle of the ground. Adelaide changed direction. That's not a great kick from the skipper. Intercepted there by Edwards again, I think it is. So brought to ground by Nick Murray. Umpire comes in. I'm not going to wait around this year. That's one of the new interpretations. Just throw the ball straight back up. Dawson again coming. Adelaide by hand 3 or 4 times. Let's have a look. Wayne Miller are now getting it forward. Darcy Fogarty just read the flight of the ball a bit better. Once again, the younger players like Bell, the ball's in the air. You know you're playing on a really good player like Fogarty, and he just instead of just making the ball his focus, he just turned his head, try and find the body of Darcy Fogarty, and Fogarty just slipped in underneath him and then took an uncontested mark. So, and then the one thing we know Darcy Fogarty can do very reliably is kick the ball well, and he's done it again there. So the umpire made a bit of ground to his left, but comfortably covered the 50 metres, and now the blue team starting to really run away with this. So 12 goals, 12-4-76 to 2-4-16. So they kicked 6 in the first quarter against the Breeze, and they've now kicked 6-4 this quarter with the Breeze. So I'd expect at half-time we might start to see a bit of evening up of the teams, so we make this a bit more meaningful in the second half. Very good.
How did you go with these sorts of games, Bix, in your time when you're playing match sim or intra-club games as an experienced player? And we've obviously seen the blue team has got a lot of quality experience out there. How did you go to keep yourself going in these sorts of situations when maybe the scoreline's just a little bit, or it is very one-sided?
Well, early on, you're desperate, you're keen, and you know most of the younger players sort of find themselves in that sort of yellow side. So you want to be challenged by playing against the good sides, but as you sort of move later in your career, it's really what are you trying to get out of it? So you're trying to one, get the fitness, so, run around and work hard, and two, just try and be really clean when you get your opportunities. So there you go. Josh Rochelle just overkicked that one there. Taylor Walker just went over his head as the yellow team rebound. So, yeah, just some nice touch out of it. And you want to just feel good about yourself that you're going all right. That was Jordan Dawson, I think, just picked the ball up, lowered his eyes, and Taylor Walker, who was slowly getting up after getting poleaxed after he led and got knocked over, found himself all on his own and accepted a nice pass from Dawson.
It's a similar sort of range for Taylor as what Darcy Fogarty's last kick was.
Yeah, so really distance won't be an issue, even though he's kicking from 45. The breeze will be right behind him, but he's left it left again. So he's had 3 behinds this quarter, which is unlike him, and 2 of them have missed to the left. So just the breeze got hold of that drop. Now the yellow team have pretty much done the same thing every kick out. They've come this side of the ground, short, as Luke Nankervis gets it to James Borlace, and that looks like it's going to be out of bounds on the full. So expect Adelaide to try and get it back through the middle, which they do. Rory Laird hasn't seen a whole lot of footy so far today, but neat gets it to Jordan Butts. A little bit undecided, ends up stepping around the yellow player, but once again, not able to find someone with that final kick inside forward 50, and there's the development area for Jordan Butts.
Yellow team's under siege here a little bit. Obviously, we don't have stats for this game, but I would imagine the inside 50s are heavily weighted towards the blue team. Obviously, that's where the wind's going, and it's a matter of just hanging on here for the yellow team.
Yeah, and as you'd expect, as we said, the some super talent inside the blue team. As that ball gets forced through, it looks like Mitch Marsh. So he's playing on the wing, so he's covering the ground. He's down inside that defensive goal square there, just trying to protect that, and ends up taking the kick in. Ball goes back forward. Wayne Miller are starting to get busy. The blue team really building the wall, bring the ball back through the middle of the ground. Josh Worrell, can he pick someone out? Just falls short of Jordan Dawson. He gets it back on his right foot, looking for Rochelle. He keeps his feet, pushes off. Jeez, he looks strong, doesn't he?
He does.
And then you've got
Bit of familiarity around that halfback line there with Milera, Worrell. It's really starting to flex its muscles there, the strength of that halfback line, which is great.
And also, because it's so difficult to kick into the breeze, they're really aggressive with their positioning. So they're all playing well in front of their men, and they're just locking this ball in. So let's have a look at the yellow team. Can they get it moving forward? That's another win for the blue team. And every time they get it on one side, they're looking to switch it and get it out onto the open side. It's the way footy's played these days. You're trying to get the ball away from density and out into the space. As they go towards Walker, he just had a good purchase on it. Couldn't quite grab it. Ben Keays was the man who crumbed it, got it out towards Darcy Fogarty. And the ball, I think, is out of bounds. No, boundary umpire will call it out of bounds now. So what are we? We've got still 7 minutes to go in this first half, and the blue team, the strong Adelaide team, well on top. Isaac Cumming gets it in, and there's a good win there from James Borlace. Just was able to work Darcy Fogarty under the ball. Now he's assessing his options as he chooses to go long, looking for Toby Murray there. Got some nice protection from Riley O'Brien. Yeah, we've just got to wait now.
Hasn't got much up forward.
Yeah, well, that's right, because he's the key forward. Riley O'Brien's the ruckman, so he's just got to wait until he's got someone bigger down the line to be able to compete for him. But that ball was just slewed off the side of his boot. And the wind blowing right across him, so that's causing a bit of havoc for the players trying to control this footy. Josh Worrell's having no trouble kicking it though. He's doing really well as he gets it to Nick Murray. Is that Murray? Is that to Bond, is it, on the other side? Bond to Chase Jones as they work it methodically down. Yeah, Max Michelani has run hard off half back. It's been a bit of a problem area though for the blue team because the yellow team have got numbers back. They just haven't been able to find too many marks with depth inside their forward 50. So
it's probably what you're referring to before when we mentioned the yellow team having a +1 behind the footy. It's also a good learning thing for the blue team, and this is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, just got to make sure they just don't fall into the trap of just banging in long and thinking that Walker or Thilthorpe or Fogarty will outmark their opponent. Just got to get it advantage side to them. And Josh Rochelle wins the ball, gets it in long. So it's another behind. So when you think they kicked 6 straight into the breeze in the first quarter, they've kicked 6 goals, 8. This has been dominant in terms of field position, but just haven't been able to really finish them off on the scoreboard like they would have liked.
On the flip side, I don't think the yellow have scored.
I think Zach.
Sorry, yes, you're right too. Yeah, they did too. So, but beyond that, it's been a long time since they've probably had a forward 50, let alone a shot on goal.
Yeah, so this is Finbar Maley. I think he's taken the mark, and I guess that's the strength of his game. He's got a nice set of hands as he kicks it long. We've got the 2 big players up there. That was a holding free kick there. That was Toby Murray's going to be the recipient. I saw Jordan Butts came in, third man in, he cannoned into Riley O'Brien. He was a little bit ginger getting up. So, big pack. And there you go. He finds Lockie Scholl. As now Toby Murray has to work hard to get down inside the forward line. He's playing on his brother Nick. No favours from Nick. As the ball goes in there. Geez, Berry was strong there. He not only competed in the air, won the ball on the ground. Rochelle's had a stack of footy. Gets it to Darcy Fogarty. Fogarty to Isaac Rankin, who just squeezes it to Jordan Dawson. And this is well within him here because we've got a strong breeze behind him. We've seen the ball really carried to that end. Most of the balls that have missed to the left-hand side, so he's probably, as a left footer, he's probably going to aim probably a metre inside the right-hand goalpost here and let the breeze do some work. But should get the distance. Kick from probably 55. He's hit it pretty well and he's kicked the goal. I think the yellow team might be looking around and asking where the ruckman was. It went through it pretty much a touchable height. I don't think he got all of it when he kicked it, but in the end, just a little bit of ruck craft there. Just didn't have the ruckman on the line.
Good experience by Tex there. Obviously, the boys were very Taylor conscious there, and he knew that, and obviously shielded the ball over the line. Last couple of minutes, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, and obviously you've already mentioned at halftime. I think the coaches will move the magnets around, so the second half will look a little bit different in terms of the personnel on both sides. So. One thing the coaches have mentioned is that they'll keep the same numbers, but they just maybe in a different colour.
Yeah, gotcha. So we'll go back to the middle again, and this is probably one of the more talked about duels today. I suspect at the end of today will be Riley O'Brien versus Lockie McAndrew. I think McAndrew's had the better of him around the, in terms of the contest, particularly at centre bounce, but O'Brien probably found a bit more ball once it gets into general play. So. Interesting to see how the coaching staff approach that throughout the year. I've no doubt that McAndrew is going to play some footy this year. As Dawson wins it, feeds it back to Alex Neil-Bullen. Neil-Bullen goes forward. There's a good contest in the air from Riley Thilthorpe. Tex Walker has got his hand on that, trying to hold it in. In the end, it's well won by Thilthorpe. Gets it out to Ben Keays. Ben Keays, a little bit fancy, tried to do the left foot check sider, and in the end made a meal of it. So he'd be disappointed with that. He loves kicking a goal. As the yellow team come back quickly into it, and you've got Mitch Marsh, left foot, thumps it as long as he can. Toby Murray gets up, got 2 hands on it, and this is a good chance for the yellow team now as they work their way down the outer side here. Not a whole lot to kick to. They've kicked it over the back. Bond there, but isn't able to wrap it up, but in the end he gets it out into the path of Wayne Miller, who then makes a really nice decision and finds Chase Jones. There's 50 metres. I take it that was the player not standing instantly on the mark. So if you're in whatever the meterage is, you then have to instantly stand on the mark. He took off, so...
And you can see that just the impact it has on the game, and obviously, particularly with a windy day like that. And Ben Keays has put that one through, and that's the damage that such an infringement can make.
Well, there's going to be some frustration, isn't there, early on in the year, because the players aren't doing it to try and get an advantage. It's just years of sort of trained behaviour. But it was interesting there. It was good work by Thilthorpe, just really clever. He knew that Ben Keays was in front of his man and going to run onto it, so he just flipped the ball over his head. And Keays that time was almost in the identical position than what he was when he went for the left foot check sider. That time there, just dribbled it through and kicked a goal for himself. So 14-9, 93. That's for the blue team, or the A team, for the Adelaide Footy Club there. They're well in front as the siren blows of the yellow team, which is 2-4-16. So that is a big margin at this stage, and as you said, we expect that they will even it up with the makeup of the two teams. As they're going to go inside, they'll go inside, they'll have a chat with their coaching staff, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back at Port Augusta very soon.
Did he have a quick looking board? It doesn't matter. Coleman there. Do that.
Oh, yes. That's a great start.
Mate, you are a veteran of the Adelaide Football Club.
You are 11th season, Keaysy.
11th season, and you'd probably be top 5 or 6 of longest tenured Crows on the list at the moment.
I'm probably the 5th oldest, which is a bit scary. I feel like I just came in, and I don't always act like one of the older guys, but
you are a bit silly.
I'm a little bit silly sometimes, but yeah, I love it. It's real second home for me now after 11 years. You meet some great characters through footy, Keaysy, and a lot of them at the Adelaide Footy Club.
I'd love to learn a little bit about how the transition's gone, mate. It's obviously home for you.
Yeah.
So talk a bit about that, and how's it been being an Adelaide Crow?
Well, first of all, Keays, thanks for embracing me the way you have and the boys. I've felt so much love and also just value with the role that we play running out on the Adelaide Oval from round 1. So we played St Kilda in our first game, the momentum that game gave us, but every time we get to play at home, the noise of the crowd, whether it's a day game, night game, all the seats are filled, and I've just loved it. And that's probably an added bonus coming home, is still to be able to live out my childhood dream of playing AFL footy.
Mate, tell us, you're new-ish to the club, I guess. You just made your club debut recently. Tell us a bit about the move and how it all came apart.
Came late last year when the Crows came and sort of asked the question, and knowing a few boys here already, and it was going to make the transition the easiest out of any transition I would have had. Obviously, you and I, back in the NEFL days.
I was going to get there.
There's a fair few of us that have roamed around that great league. And yeah, I love that, running out into Adelaide Oval. It was I couldn't have probably dreamt for anything better than that.
You actually arrived at the Crows at the same time, or same draft. So you make your debut, and yeah, you obviously went back and played some sample footy, but now, dare I say it seems like you're certainly a mainstay in the team, and mate, you've been absolutely killing it on the field. You moved to Adelaide, obviously not knowing much about it. Where have you landed, and how are you finding living in Adelaide?
I've loved living in Adelaide. I've landed in Prospect. Love it over that side of town. Feels a bit like home, where I'm from in the Bayside suburbs of Melbourne. So I really enjoy that. And then, yeah, got you over there.
You played like a number of positions as well, which is it's awesome for development of a young player. You've played back, bit of midfield, and at the moment you're playing a lot of forward line with a bit of midfield as well. But mate, we've loved having you down the forward line. How have you found that role?
Yeah, I love the challenge, and I mean anywhere I can fit into the team and just try help out and get us to the ultimate success. Like I'm happy with whatever. So yeah, I'm really enjoying footy at the moment.
Righto, pulling back into Westlake, Stanny. You might have to book a test drive yourself and go have a look at this.
100%, I'm going to have to.
It's a ripping car. And even better chats.
Yep.
Some great guests.
Appreciate it, Keays.
Guys, Dan Curtin, thanks for coming on. The man. See you soon. Oh, Danny, you're a bloody star, mate.
No, you are the GOAT.
The thing I love about the program is the opportunities that come from the fact that we're at the Adelaide Football Club.
Being able to work on a match day rather than being in the stands was a good experience and definitely learned a lot.
Welcome back to Port Augusta for the second half of the Adelaide Football Club live streamed internal trial. There's been a few changes. The first one you'll see there is Riley O'Brien has gone to the blue team. So that's been, the blue team has been the stronger team in the first half. That was the A grade team. And so there's been about 7 changes. So I'll quickly run through them whilst this game has just started. So Tyler Welsh goes to the blue team, as does Riley O'Brien, Mitch Marsh, Braden Cook, Borlace, Dowling is another one who's gone there along with Foot. So yeah, the changes there for the blue team. You may see Taylor Walker and Darcy Fogarty in the picture there. They've both changed over to the yellow team, along with Ben Keays, Hugh Bond, Wayne Miller and Nick Murray. So certainly evened up this contest, which was very one-sided in the first halves. So as the scoreboard now, it doesn't have a great deal of relevance, but it's 14-9 was the blue team to the yellow team 2-4. So as I said, we should see a much more even contest now. As the ball comes back into play, Riley O'Brien wins that one down. Riley Thilthorpe gets it back to James Peatling, who finds Alex Neil-Bullen. He's been good, particularly in the second quarter. A couple of touches there, gets the ball back, feeds it inside to Mitch Marsh on his natural left foot, but just missed Isaac Rankin. And Isaac Rankin, I'm not sure it was intentional, but just knocked the ball out of the hands of Josh Rochelle, who's now in yellow. And he had a very bright start to the game as well. Welcome Jarrod Meers, who joined us again. Jarrod, you like what you saw from Josh Rochelle?
Did, yeah. Had a lot of ball in the first half, as you said. And, hits Taylor Walker straight up. So even though he's changed colours, same sort of system.
Yeah, and that was probably, you saw a little bit of the blue team who were dominant, kicking with the wind in the second quarter, and they had so many entries, just weren't able to find as many marks inside forward 50 as they would like. So I'm sure the coach would have spoken about that at half-time, and that was a much more measured entry there from Josh Rochelle. Just put it out into space, and strong hands of Taylor Walker. Now he kicked three behinds in the second quarter with the breeze in his back. All missed to the left, so we'll see what this one does. And the goal umpire says, no, you've overcorrected. He's missed that one to the right-hand side as the blue team bring the ball back into play quickly. Looks like it might be Luke Nankervis who brought that ball back in.
Young lad to follow in this second half. He's now out in the field. Archie Ludowick, number 34. He's actually playing next to Taylor Walker. He's got the yellow boots, so for those people watching at home, be nice to have a first look at him. So he was obviously one of our early draft picks this year.
So tell us a little bit about his background, because he's a good size. What is he? Almost 200 centimetres? 197 or
yeah. He was a member of the AFL Academy last year as well too. So one of the later picks. Those people who draft not, I don't know how intently they watched it. He was the young lad who decided to go up to the bedroom and his name was called out, and there was a quick run down the stairs. So good size.
Recovering from did he have a PCL or,
Yes.
or something like that?
Yeah, you're correct. And you'll see his knees strapped today.
Yeah, so good mark there. Who's that? It's got Finbar Maley, who comes from North Melbourne, of course. Played some footy last year. I guess the strength of his game is his aerial ability. Really can clunk a mark. That one there just got in behind his opponent there. So tell us a bit about the sort of reasoning behind bringing Finbar into the side.
It's a good question. I mean, it does add another tool to our system. I mean, we're pretty tall AFL squad now, so that's probably the reason why someone like a Mitch Marsh is going to have to push up the ground and play on the wing and some high half forward. So obviously last year we lost Chris Burgess. And it's probably, I wouldn't say it's a like-for-like replacement, but it actually just bolsters up our depth in our forward half. And, as you just said there, one of his strengths is obviously attacking the footy. And if he doesn't mark the ball, one thing he will do is bring it to ground. So if you're a small, you'd be licking the lips together.
Yeah, good size as well. And I guess he does offer you that flexibility. He could be a bit of a workhorse, in terms of maybe doing some minutes in the ruck in the front half of the ground as well. So, and
he has done that during the match sims up until this game. He actually has spent a bit of time as a secondary ruckman as well.
Yeah, so there you go. Free kick given to Lockie McAndrew there. Handballs it off and it goes inside. Forward 50. That's the yellow team trying to get the ball back inside 50. Good pressure there from the blue team as Riley O'Brien takes a mark. He's going to try and look inside to the middle of the ground, perhaps. The yellow team did well there in making sure they could block up the middle of the ground so they couldn't get the ball to the open side. Josh Rochelle continues to get some footy. Uses it really well. Maley again. Just wobbles off the boot. That's probably one of the knocks. It got to where it needed to get to, but kicking probably, if you had to describe him, wouldn't be one of his strengths.
I noticed walking back after the break across the oval, the wind has definitely picked up. So, no, it's hard to believe given how windy it has been so far, but I reckon it's elevated to that sort of 4 or 5 goal mark.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And we talked about kicking being a strength. Well, certainly for Darcy Fogarty, it's a strength, and that looked like he was going to kick it from outside 50, but it clunked into the left-hand post as the blue team bring the ball back in again. Much more even contest early in this third quarter than what we've seen in the first half. But still, a lot of time being spent at the left-hand side of your screen because of the strong breeze that's going there. So James Borlase is going to bring the ball back in. They've brought it in short on most occasions today. That one there goes to James Peatling again, short. He tries to come down the line. He's looking for Riley O'Brien, who competes really strongly, then wins it on the ground. It's well done. Gets it back to Marsh, to Toby Murray, to Rory Laird now. They've got an out number. Billy Dowling, back to Toby Murray, who looked really mobile there, followed up well in the hands of Isaac Rankin, and that's a tough shot from there. Wow. The wind is blowing straight out of the front of the goal, so that was a really tough shot. It's going to be hard to see how he could get it, but he gave it every chance as the Yellows bring it in quickly, but they've got it into the hands of Jordan Dawson. He uses it pretty well normally, and that is no exception. Finds his big target in Riley Thilthorpe, who did kick a goal from... Did he kick one here in the first quarter? He might have kicked one there. Might kick the first goal of the match, but that's what happens on turnover often. If you make a mistake by foot, your defence is never set up behind to be able to really defend strongly. And when that ball went to Jordan Dawson, he had a lot of options, and the one that stands out, obviously, is your big All-Australian centre forward. Comes in now. That looked pretty good off the boot. The umpire didn't move a whole lot, and he says, yep, that's pretty good. So, as you said, much more even contest this quarter, and Yellows have had a fair bit of footy inside their forward 50. Haven't scored a whole lot of goals. Haven't been peppering them, but the Blue go up and get one. So that's a good response.
Notice on the scoreboard for those people watching home, and you probably see it flashed up on the screen, they've actually modified the scoreline, so obviously simulate some scenarios probably in the second half, and it won't necessarily be, as you said earlier, what the goals and the points are.
They've got the scoreboard. They've got 11-1 to 11-3. Maybe the goal kicking coach might have adjusted those scores. It wasn't quite that accurate, but anyway, I guess it's just so it sort of means that the scoreboard's reasonably irrelevant. But you're thinking maybe they might do some game scenario stuff. What's it look like if the scores are
absolutely
one team's behind by a goal and needs to score quickly, one team needs to protect the lead. So some of those scenario type trainings we'll keep an eye on. So there we go. Pretty willing here at the moment. McAndrew always looking to handball, but ended up getting it onto his boot. Josh Rochelle ends up with the ball in hand and just misses to the right. He would have been pretty disappointed with that because breaking 40 metres, running straight at goal, shoulders square, and just pushed it out to the right. Jordan Butts gets it inboard to Max Michaelaney. He goes short again. Finds Jordan Dawson, who's good pressure, run down from behind. Taylor Walker now 60 metres out. Might have a look at the goals from that distance. And that's more like it.
Has he missed that one?
No, he's kicked 4 behinds before he's been able to kick a goal at that end. But isn't that beautiful? And you often think about Taylor when he does swing the leg right through from about 50 metres. Often the action is much more fluent, and he scores a lot of goals from around the 50-metre mark and beyond. So that one there was comfortably within him, and he's kicked that from outside 50, and it sailed right over the goal umpire's hat. So another one on the board to the yellow team.
The really impressive thing about Tex then, for those people watching at home, he had poise about him. He was actually looking for others as well, and then obviously sized up his options. And you give a player like Taylor all the time in the world, he'll knock those ones over every day of the week.
Yep. Yeah, it's just such a great kick, both sides of his body. That doesn't matter, and so creative in that scenario. As we watch Toby Murray got over the top of Lockie McAndrew there, wins the ball down to the blue team. That was Tyler Welsh. Haven't seen a lot of Tyler Welsh today as yet. The yellows now. Nick Murray to Sam Berry. Get the ball out. That's Lockie Scholl out wide. He uses the ball neatly. What have we got here? Looks like Ben Keays, is it?
Yep.
I think we're a long way away from the play here, but Ben Keays on the yellow team now. Gets it long. McAndrew. That's a nice mark. That'll give him some confidence. Little kick came off the instep. That's not his strong suit. Maybe
Mitch Marsh.
Yeah, and that's good positioning for him getting back on the wing. Josh Worrell just got caught behind him. He tries to knock it back into play.
Don't think Josh was actually even looking at the footy then when Mitch kicked it to him, but he did well actually to get a ball in.
Yeah. So McAndrew, we have seen him when he wins the ball look to handball it. That one there, he got back quickly and tried to use it by foot. Like I said, didn't quite come off right, but the more he plays, the more confidence he'll get. I'm sure he'll improve enormously this year as he gets the ball over the back looking for Sam Berry. Couldn't quite get it. Get some pressure on. Oh, a bit of heat there. Billy Dowling caught one high. Might have been a head clash even. And he's just getting up. He's just rubbing his mouth and his nose. That's all good. Braden Cook. Seen him do some kick-ins. He's playing in the back line. He was in the yellow team and he's switched across to the blue team. See if he can navigate it. We know he's got a beautiful leg. He's looking for his big ruckman in Toby Murray. Didn't get there, got over the back. It's good work there, just rushing the ball forward. Jordan Dawson has gone into the forward line to full forward. Dowling just couldn't quite get his hand on that handball. And the yellow team now come away. Darcy Fogarty had a couple of metres on his opponent.
There's that first one of the first ones in the second half where we've seen it'll be last possession. So Braden Cook will return this kick in.
I'm not sure. I think that might be the first one for the day. So for people that are worried that it's going to revolutionise the game, it's taken to the about 10 minutes into the third quarter before we've seen the first last possession free kick. So Dowling now goes back, goes long down the line. This is a big pack. Toby Murray gets the jump at it and takes a nice mark. He's had some nice moments. We he's tried to keep that low end of the breeze. Isaac Rankin was his target, gets it to ground. Jordan Dawson, that was unselfish. Had a play on his own in Chase Jones. Chase Jones just bounced off his shoulder in the end, which trying to take a chest mark. And in the end, it comes back to, who's that? Zach Taylor.
Yep.
So, some nice work there.
Once again, Zachy Taylor, as we said earlier in the first half, just plays his role, knows what position to get into, and then, again, like most of our forwards, if you give him a sniff, Zach will knock him over every day of the week.
Yeah, that was James Borlase. So I was trying to work out which player passed the ball into Zach Taylor, and it was James Borlase, who was down a long way from defence. So he just pushed up there, received the outlet handball, and then put it inside to Zach Taylor. As we just watch Braden Cook come off for a rest. Rory Laird jumps on into defence. So Laird hasn't been called upon to do a lot today. He's vast experience, All-Australian, best and fairest winner.
Finbar Mailey into the ruck now, so we spoke about him earlier, having some ruck relief, so the viewers at home will be able to get a bit of a look at how he goes in the ruck.
Yeah, so probably nullified against his taller opponent. Charlie Edwards there won it really well, just couldn't quite get a hand on it. That might be holding the ball, yes. That's one of the new rules to look for, new interpretations. If you do try and fend off and you then aren't able to get rid of it, then the umpires are going to be pretty tough on you. So Edwards wins himself a free kick here. Let's have a look what he does as he enters in. Goes long. It's got great distance on it. Almost went through. As we get to the 15-minute mark, and as you've seen in the first 2 quarters, whistle will blow. All the players have a rest. Might make some rotations. Just a little bit of element of control. Each side's got about 3 players on the bench, so with the reduced amount of rotations, that's why they're just having a break at the halfway point of the quarter. So much more even quarter than what we saw in the first half. Obviously, with the changes they've made, they've evened up the 2 teams, and also been made very difficult by this strong wind blowing to one end. So it's about a 4 or 5 goal breeze. As you can see, the players just talking amongst themselves. Going to be joined by General Manager of Football for the Crows, and that is Adam Kelly, who just takes a seat alongside of me. Adam, you've been happy with what you've seen so far?
Yeah, look, it's at times, I guess, the contest has been a little bit one-sided, but I think we're generally pretty happy with what we're seeing. Gives the coaches the opportunity to run through a few different scenarios, and it's all important part of our progression as we head towards games against opposition.
Yeah, just whilst this game goes on, we'll talk maybe a bit more in a broader sense. Have you been happy with the pre-season? I know there's been some high-profile injuries in the last couple of weeks, but by and large, most of the players have got a fair bit of work in.
Yeah, it's actually been a really positive pre-season, other than those 2 significant injuries over recent weeks. So, as hopefully people are able to witness by the internal trial, we've got a lot of players who are in really good condition and being able to complete the majority of sessions throughout and prepare themselves really well. So no, we're confident in the work that's been done. Looking forward to testing that against some opposition, but certainly confident with what we've been able to do to this point.
Are you just able to give us an update on Sid Draper? There's been a lot spoken about his pre-season. He's been managed a little bit, and then, of course, not playing today. Is he still in the frame for, to get back and maybe be available early in the year?
Yeah, the plan with Sid, all going well over the next few weeks, would be that he would play in one of the trials by the end of February.
Yep.
So his progression, whilst it's been slow and steady, it's been very deliberate as well. And to his credit, he's really put in the work. The high performance medical team had set out a clear plan on what they wanted to achieve, and he's been able to tick milestones along the way. And he's progressed to change of direction, as hopefully people have seen with some of the vision coming out of training. He looked really dynamic the other day, but with that comes a little bit of soreness as well as he continues to build his strength. And we're really positive about where he's got himself to now. Hopefully the next few weeks go well, and we look to see him out there by the end of the month.
Yeah, I guess the challenge will be to try and keep him nice and calm. He's obviously, he's high-end talent and he's desperate to get out there, and you can see at times he'd be frustrated of, his body not perhaps letting him do what he does, but let's hope that goes well. I did hear during the week that Dan Curtin, the brace is off and that rehab is coming along pretty well. That's always a good sign as well.
Yeah, Dan's, the surgery went well. He's recovered well.
He just kicked a lovely left foot goal from about 50 metres out. So, Adam, tell us about Tom and some of the reasoning behind him getting an opportunity.
Yeah, Tom come across from South Fremantle, having played through the Colts there, and really impressed in his under-18 year and played for WA in the national champs. Impressed our recruiters enough that we reached out to him to see whether he wanted to come over and have a look at some SANFL footy. So he signed with our SANFL list, and he's been...
Just a bit of argy-bargy there, sorry to interrupt, but Josh Rochelle in the face of Luke Nankervis, he's given away 2 50-metre penalties, so that puts him on the goal line. But yeah, we've been impressed with what we've seen so far today from Tom.
Yeah, look, he's an athletic tall. I think he sits at that around 197 centimetres. He's got a nice left foot kick on him. He was just part of a South Fremantle team that won the Waffle Premiership last year. Found it hard to break into the senior lineup. They had some really good senior key defenders, and he came over to look for an opportunity for us to play some regular state league footy. But he's really impressed us the way he's gone about things and fitted in really well with the group. So
he's really rangy looking. 197, but plays like a sort of tall halfback flanker. So that's it seems to be a bit of the modern way, in that sort of Josh Worrell mould.
Yeah, certainly. And he does remind us a little bit of Josh back when he started with us in 2020. The way he uses the footy and he moves around, he certainly reminds us of that. It'd be nice if he developed it at Josh's rate, which we've all obviously been really pleased with. But no, he's going well today, and we've been impressed with him over the pre-season.
Yeah, interesting. Just watching the ruck duel again, McAndrew gets up high, got the ball to ground, and then Riley O'Brien wins it on the ground and it goes forward. How do you see that playing out? And I noticed that McAndrew started in the A team, for want of a better term. How have their pre-seasons lined up, and is it line ball at the moment?
It's certainly, I guess, specific to centre bounce. The change to the ruck rule certainly provides an advantage to a player like Lockie, who stands almost 210 centimetres and has got a leap. So, Rob, as the weeks have gone on and as Rob's been adjusting to the ruck rules, he's been able to negate that somewhat. And Rob, being the ultimate professional that he is, he's really gone to work and tried to adjust his method to try and combat, a ruck like Lockie, and to our advantage. That challenge for Rob to be able to look at that over the pre-season against someone of Lockie's height who can really get up, I think sets Rob up well for the season ahead in adjusting to the rules. But Lockie's really staking a claim as well over the pre-season. So that's been a really good battle, and it'd be interesting to see how that plays out over the coming weeks.
As the ball comes back to the centre, those that were taking notice would have seen Ben Keays kick a right foot goal deep in the right-hand pocket with the breeze. That was about a 1 in 100, and he was pretty pleased about it. As we get a look at this ruck contest again, Riley O'Brien changing the angle there. There you go, Lockie McAndrew getting over the top, got it down nicely. Yellow team wins it. Sam Berry's been pretty powerful around the stoppage as well, running out of stoppage quite regularly today. Hands free, and the yellow team done really nicely. Get it to Keays again. That's a great goal. He's on fire. He's kicked 2 in a minute.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to get Keaysy up and about, and kicking 2 in a minute will certainly be the case there. He's brings an unbelievable energy to our group. I think that's why not only his teammates love him, I think that's why our fans love him. They can see the passion with which he plays and that enthusiasm, and that's infectious amongst the group, and certainly brings the crowd to life at Adelaide Oval as well.
Let's have a look at this centre bounce again, because McAndrew's jumped over the top of Riley O'Brien the last couple. Rochelli's been super impressive today as well, and he gives out that handball there to Keays to kick that goal, and certainly he's covering the ground really well as a midfielder.
Yeah, I guess the silver lining with Dan Curtin unfortunately going down through injury is that we've been able to give Josh a bit more exposure into the midfield over recent weeks, and he's really stepped up and showed what he's got to offer there, and that's exciting for us as we head towards season proper. Those players who can play mid-forward and impact the game in the way in which he does with excellent ball use and ability to hit the scoreboard, I think they're some of the more valuable players in the competition. And we've seen with Josh last year before his injury, he was enjoying a really good season, and he certainly had a great pre-season, set himself up for the season ahead.
Yeah, and if you think about sort of late last year when, particularly in finals when it didn't quite work, Josh wasn't there, you didn't have Isaac Rankin to run through the middle either, and a lot did fall on Jordan Dawson, so I guess the ability, for these other guys to go into the middle, it does unlock Jordan to play forward or back or anywhere on the ground, really. He's such a versatile player for you.
Yeah, it just gives us a great deal of flexibility. Both with Isaac and with Josh, their ability to find some space in tight and around the contest, and that first 5 metres to break free and really explode out of stoppage and either use hands or their excellent foot skills to really change the dynamic of not only the midfield but the game itself and get some pace coming out of stoppage is going to be really important for us. So we look forward to that, to Josh adding to our midfield mix.
We talked about Dan Curtin and the injury and all going well, and he's back rehabbing. What was the plan? We know he trained predominantly with the midfield group. Is that pure midfield? Would he play mid, come off, rest, and go back into the mid? Would he go mid, bit of forward? Where's that? Have you got a plan, or was a bit of suck it and see?
With Dan, I guess the objective of the pre-season, given that we've got a lot of confidence in what he could do out in the wing after what he showed last year, the plan was to expose him as much as possible as an inside mid.
Yep.
What we were looking forward to and what is still yet to come is that with Dan being that bigger bodied mid and Jordan himself being over 190 plus, like the ability of a Dan Curtin and a Jordan Dawson to be able to flip mid forward, again it just changes not only our midfield but our forward line mix as well. So that's something we'll obviously look to explore when Dan returns. But yeah, throughout the pre-season he trained primarily as a inside mid.
Well, Adam, thanks for being generous with your time and just filling us in on a couple of the questions that we had. We're going to take a break while it's three-quarter time here. We're back very shortly.
Did he have a quick looking board? It doesn't matter. Combin there.
Do that.
Oh, yes. That's a great start. Mate, you are a veteran of the Adelaide Football Club.
You are 11th season, Keazy.
11th season, and you'd probably be top 5 or 6 of longest tenured Crows on the list at the moment.
I'm probably the 5th oldest, which is a bit scary. I feel like I just came in, and I don't always act like one of the older guys, but
you are a bit silly.
I'm a little bit silly sometimes, but yeah, I love it. It's
real second home for me now after 11 years. You meet some great characters through footy, Keays, and a lot of them at the Adelaide Footy Club.
I'd love to learn a little bit about how the transition's gone, mate. It's obviously home for you.
Yeah.
So talk a bit about that, and how's it been being an Adelaide Crow?
Well, first of all, Keays, thanks for embracing me the way you have in the boys. I've felt so much love and also just value with, you know, the role that we play running out the Adelaide Oval from round one. So we played St Kilda in our first game, the momentum that game gave us, but every time we get to play at home, the noise of the crowd, whether it's a day game, night game, all the seats are filled, and I've just loved it. And that's probably an added bonus coming home, is still to be able to live out my childhood dream of playing AFL footy.
Mate, tell us, you're newish to the club, I guess. You just made your club debut recently. Tell us a bit about the move and how it all came apart.
Came late last year when the Crows came and sort of asked a question, and knowing a few boys here already, and it was going to make the transition the easiest out of any transition I would have had. Obviously, you and I, back in the NEFL days.
I was going to get there.
There's a fair few of us that have roamed around that great league. And yeah, I love that, running out into Adelaide Oval. It was I couldn't have probably dreamt for anything better than that.
You actually arrived at the Crows at the same time, or same draft. So you make your debut, and yeah, you obviously went back and played some SANFL footy, but now, dare I say it seems like you're certainly a mainstay in the team, and mate, you've been absolutely killing it on the field. You moved to Adelaide, obviously not knowing much about it. Where have you landed, and how are you finding living in Adelaide?
I've loved living in Adelaide. I've landed in Prospect. Love it over that side of town. Feels a bit like home, where I'm from in the Bayside suburbs of Melbourne. So I really enjoy that. And then, yeah, got you over there.
You played like a number of positions as well, which is it's awesome for development of a young player. You've played back, a bit of midfield, and at the moment you're playing a lot of forward line with a bit of midfield as well. But mate, we've loved having you down the forward line. How have you found that role?
Yeah, I love the challenge, and I mean, anywhere I can fit into the team and just try help out and, you know, get us to the ultimate success, like, yeah, I'm happy with whatever. So yeah, I'm really enjoying footy at the moment.
Righto, pulling back into Westlake, Stanny.
Welcome back. We're here in Port Augusta for the internal trial, live streamed on the AFC website, as we see Riley O'Brien get up for the blue team, win the tap with his left hand. So the team's changed a lot at half time, and it made it a much more even contest. So we've seen a good contest so far. Jarrod, as we get a shot on goal there from Finbar Maley. And just whilst I was talking to Adam Kelly, Tom Bell had some more nice touches, and he's probably been one of the stories, along with Jarrod Foot.
Zach Foot.
Zach
Foot. Yeah.
Must be another Jarrod Foot that I know somewhere. Zach Foot, who had some nice moments in the first half for the yellow side. So yeah, it's been a pretty good contest.
It's been good for Tom. I mean, as we said early in the coverage, hasn't really played a lot of senior footy against men. Yep. Obviously, come through the pathway with South Fremantle. So for him to not only play a game at this level, but train and effectively live and breathe in the AFL football environment, it's only going to do his game a lot of good.
Yeah, I think the other big talking point that will come out of today will be around the ruck contest, and looks like Lockie McAndrew has had the better of that, more so in his ability to get over the top of Riley O'Brien, and O'Brien gets it done on the ground. So it's going to be a real tight run thing to see which way the footy club decide to go, but probably on exposed form of what I've seen today, I think probably McAndrew is just a little bit ahead in that regard in terms of the new ruck rules. So
Archie Ludovic with the footy here. I spoke about him early in the last quarter, so in the previous quarter. So he's his first real forte at shot on goal. He's a good size about him. Obviously, he had a free reception here and gets a shot on goal.
And settled in to the footy club and Adelaide lifestyle?
Yeah, a slow start, as we said. Like the high performance team really looked after him. Obviously, you said he had a PCL complaint at the end of last season. So again, he's a bit like Mitch Marsh. He's going to be a long-term project as well. Good size, good athletic profile. So he's one to keep a look at SANFL level in the early part of this year and just see how he goes.
Yeah, and yeah, very much a player of the future. That style, you mentioned Mitch Marsh, probably 193. Archie's a little bit taller, around 197, but looks to have a really nice kicking style. Pair of left footers too as well. So not sure Adelaide have had a whole heap of left footers in recent times. Ben Keays, of course, and
We had a lot of left footers. We had a lot of tools now as well. It was sort of land of the Giants. So interestingly, at the break when you were talking, Adam, I scooted down to the boundary line at the three-quarter time break, and it was really, really impressive to see some of those younger guys like Archie and Zach and Billy Dowling, the older players in the team, so Ben Keays and Taylor Warwick and so on. They were really spending time actually instructing. Jordan Dawson was doing as well. So there's good, I guess, buy-in by the older players. You know, could easily just put the cue in the rack in this last quarter, but they were intent on making sure that the younger boys knew the setups and the systems.
Yeah, another free kick there. Pretty quick, you know, like if you grab the ball and you try and break a tackle, then the umpires are paying that holding the ball, and that one was against Josh Rochelle, and the free kick was taken, got it out to Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor went forward, and then the ball just rolled out of bounds, and of course, last possession out of bounds rule has been in play today, but that is not enforced inside the forward and defensive 50, so the ball will get tossed back in. Geez, the wind holding that up. Isaac Rankin was on the move, but couldn't quite get it. McAndrew couldn't make contact with it. Rankin now hunts the footy, gets onto it. Ball close, off the knee of one of the players. And what is the umpire going to say? He's saying that was rushed out of bounds, so that'll be thrown in. It's also inside forward 50, so wouldn't have mattered if it came off the foot. So the ball will come in. Let's see if the ruckman learn. Dropped short last time. Riley Thilthorpe didn't learn. He was still behind Lockie McAndrew. Well, I'll get another go at it. Surely you'd take front position here.
Tough kick for the boundary umpire here. This is a third in a row, right in front of the crowd as well, and into the stiff breeze.
Let's have a look. McAndrew finds himself in front. I think Thilthorpe in the end got his left hand to it. It was really well sharked by... who's that? Rochelle sharked it, of course, got it forward. Sam Berry's been impressive today. He's got great power. Seen him burst out of stoppage a lot. Gets that kick to Taylor Walker. Now, of course, stand rule being really fiercely enforced. Riley O'Brien can't move. So Walker gets it to Fogarty. Fogarty goes short. Lockie Scholl gets the handball out. Oh, Wayne Miller ran into a dead end there. Back to Scholl. Handball to Rochelle. Rochelle on his left. He pops that up. That's a dangerous kick. And it's been intercepted there. And it's off to the races. Riley Thilthorpe got the opportunity to get to his skipper, and there's no one between him and the goals. I reckon Isaac Rankin's a good chance to get this. Oh, no. Oh, yes, he just ended up getting onto it. I thought it might have just come off the boot incorrectly for Jordan Dawson, but that is one of those turnovers that you can't defend, and just a little bit of air on that, too much air, I should say, on the kick from Josh Rochelle, and good interception there in the back half.
Mitch Marsh was the person that come through there and just got a hand on the ball, and great to see the Blue Boys get around him. They obviously he's not a stat as such, but understand, you know, for a young kid coming through the program, those little things your teammates they pick up on that, and that ended up in a goal down the other end.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's been, like, he hasn't had a stack of footy, but I've been impressed with, he's covered a lot of ground, so I called him a couple of times. He's been in the goal square, defensive goal square from when he's been playing wing, and that one there he was helping out again in the back half of the ground, so starting to learn the nuance of playing on the wing. Of course, spent most of his footy career as a junior playing inside the forward 50, so a real education piece for him.
Different type of player to his father as well. You would have obviously had a bit to do with Ben.
Yeah, pure ruckman, of course. Played in the 98 Premiership and then went to Richmond and had a look there. But Mitch much more athletic. As Jordan Dawson wins the ball, gets it down the ground, and there's Tom Bell again, leading Toby Murray to the footy. So looked inside, umpire calls in the play on, then just dumps it out down the line. Looking for a contest there.
There's no doubt the intensity hasn't dropped off here, so it could easily, in this last quarter of an intra-club game, you could put the cue in the rack, but the boys are having a crack.
Yeah, that's it. There's a mistake by foot from Taylor Walker. Tried to bring it inside in the middle of the ground, and Billy Dowling just let himself down with that final kick. How was that Rankin? Tried to sock it off the ground and get it into a dangerous part of the ground. He was successful in doing it, but who's that there? It's Ryan by the look of it. Gets the ball, gets it out onto the open side of the ground. Bell again. He's been racking up the possession. He's got a nice, neat left foot. That's a tough kick into the breeze. Oh, got got the hands free there, wins the ball, gets it rebounding off the back half. That was
Maxi Michelani.
Michelani. Difficult. The kick, the drop was all in all sorts, and he almost did a full rotation before it hit his boot, so it didn't come off right. But Isaac Rankin wins the footy, and he handballs over the top. Tyler Welsh gets the Joe the Goose and walks in and kicks a goal. Talk about Tyler Welsh's pre-season, because last year probably didn't get into the shape that he would have liked for varying reasons. Injury during the pre-season. How's his pre-season been?
Started off really well. His 2K results have come right down. He's as you just mentioned, probably one of his Achilles heels was his aerobic base. So speaking with Tyler, he's pretty proud. He's done a power work in the off-season. As I said, he's sub 7 minutes for his 2Ks, which, for a key position forward, is pretty impressive. So, yeah, hopefully he continues to grow. This is effectively his second year of being on an AFLS. Obviously, he played 9 or 10 games at SANFL level in his draft year, which was an opportunity which we had through the SANFL rookie program. So this is effectively almost his third year of being within the system.
Yeah, and he's got some nice attributes as well. So keeping an eye on him as Adelaide, the blue team, they win it out of the middle. Good body work there from Bell. Got his man under the footy and then dropped the mark. And just, I think it was Toby Murray who threw it onto his boot, but just couldn't get it through the big sticks. So the yellow team to bring the ball back in again. That's a risky kick. Toby Murray gets onto it, gets it to ground, gets it down, handballs to Billy Dowling, and Billy Dowling just pulls it too far across his body. He had an impressive SANFL year last year, didn't he, Billy?
Absolutely, he did, yeah. One of our, probably, it was in our top 4 or 5 vote getters in our best and fairest for the club champs at state league level. So, yeah, bright future. Obviously played a few AFL games. That's a good goal by Welshie.
Yeah. So good work there. Just came out, controlled the ball in the air, but just couldn't quite complete the mark. It was back on it in a flash, and then that's the one thing he has got. He's got just great footy smarts, hasn't he? And he just was able to pick the ball up, lay it across his body, and kick a nice check side goal. Hasn't been easy to kick goals up that end. We've seen Taylor Walker have 3 or 4 shots that miss. So, he made that look really easy then, Tyler Welsh, which is, one of the great abilities he has.
He definitely knows where the goal is, and obviously that runs in the bloodline. Scotty was just obviously a bit of a goal, or a very 4-time leading goal kicker for the club. So, just having the footy smarts of knowing where the goals are is holding him in good stead.
Yeah, and just the different expectations at AFL level. When as a junior, as you said, his aerobic base wasn't his real strong point, so he tended to outmuscle and be a big key forward. At AFL level, probably not big enough to be able to do that, so he has to learn to be able to get on his bike and get up the ground and I guess use that aerobic base to win the footy. So McAndrew again wins it, gets it down. That looks like Keays in there, wins the clearance, gets it out. Free kick, blows his whistle. Jordan Butts now wins the ball, gets it out to Luke Nankervis. Got the overlap, which he'll use. That's Josh Worrell. Yeah, nice. Gets the ball back again. Hasn't been called to do a whole lot today, Josh Worrell, but goes forward. Who's this?
Zach Foote.
Zach Foote. Yeah, so he's in the blue team now. Kicks the ball long inside this. Isaac Rankin again, right at the feet of the play, and I think he thought he kicked that. He had both the hands up in the air. That's how spectacular it was. Even in the internal trial, if he had to kick that, he would have been very excited. But yeah, just missed to the left-hand side. That breeze just took it.
Great spot in the oval too, right in front of the predominantly well-populated crowd outside the club rooms here.
Yeah, and I must say the oval was looking fantastic. The surface itself is great, but it's undergone a redevelopment in the last short while. There's a 50-metre penalty, I think, by the look of that.
Not standing still on the mark there.
Not standing still on the mark. So there you go. We're going to see a little bit of that. Yes, I played a little bit of footy here back last century. That's how old I am. But it looks nothing like that now. They've got a new big grandstand and facility here, which, as with many of the country areas, has been over a period of time. They've all been upgraded throughout the Spencer Gulf. Sort of certainly Port Pirie had an upgrade as well. So it's great to see those facilities updated in the country regions. There we go. James Peatling gets the ball back. Nick Murray got hands to it. I was going to say, a bit stiff not to get a free kick. Just dragged down by Tyler Welsh. Murray will want to get it to the open side. That kick is a little bit sloppy. Gives Wayne Miller a bit of work to do. His kick's a bit neater. Gets it now. Is this Hugh Bond, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, Bond. What's he going to do? He's got a player right out on the boundary line that he finds. Yeah, Tahini. Got some overlap run again. The other team trying to move it. It's a nice spoil. Coming through from the blue team. Max Michael out on your left. Finds a teammate, Billy Dowling. Gets back quick. He's got Braden Cook all on his own.
It was well done by Indy Cotton. We spoke earlier about Mitch Marsh having that intercept before, which resulted in the goal.
Yep.
Indy Cotton hasn't done a huge amount today, but in saying that, there's a few little things exactly like that. Just getting a hand in there, and now obviously we get a shot on goal, Billy Dowling, and no doubt the boys will get around into here.
Yep. So Dowling felt the breeze behind him, and just a wry shake of the head from Braden Cook, who was screaming for it. He was on his own on the 50-metre line. Probably a little bit better kick, I suspect, than Billy Dowling, and Billy Dowling just pushed it left. So now Toby Murray gets a chance to fly at this, smashes it back. Now, maybe he could have marked that, but in the end, gets it back. Riley Thilthorpe, nice work by Cook. Got around a couple. Too much pressure, was touched off the boot. Dowling gets another crack at it. That's a better connection, and he kicks the goal. So worked out in the end for Toby Murray, thumped it back. Riley Thilthorpe was very neat with his hands, got it out to Braden Cook, who got it forward, and Dowling a snap. And I guess that's something that he did bring to his game. He's got the ability to be a goal-kicking midfielder, which probably, when he was recruited, it's not something that he was, his strength, but we've seen him do it at both SANFL and AFL level. So gets on the scoreboard again, which is a great trait to have, and probably now part of the expectation for midfielders in the modern game.
Braden Cook's gone back to the wing in this last quarter. Obviously, he's spent a fair bit of time on that halfback flank, so he's obviously in this last part of this quarter has had a bit more of his hands on the footing. That's probably because he's just moved up the ground just slightly. He's at that short break at the 15-minute mark of the last quarter as well.
Okay, so just an opportunity for these players to just have a rest. Because of the limited rotations that have been afforded to the players today, because of the numbers required to field two teams, just taking the 15-minute break each quarter, a couple of minutes for the players to catch their breath, get a break, make a few rotations. You can see them all getting around and discussing what they're going to do. So I'll take another 30 seconds or so and then they'll be into it. So I just noticed Isaac Rankin coming onto the ground. You can see him in your picture walking towards the group in the centre square. I suspect at times he's going to be used in the middle of the ground. He's such a dynamic player. He's got the speed, particularly at centre bounce, to rip through there.
What's your take on things today? Victor, you obviously had a good look at us today in terms of the way particularly the blue team set up. What does season 2026 look like for you?
Yeah, look, it's always challenging when you finished top last year and then you didn't quite. This is Adelaide, didn't quite play their best footy when it mattered most. So, you feel like they needed to add to their midfield, and if you don't do it through the draft or through trading, you look to what you've got. And we know that Rankin wasn't there last year. Rochelle wasn't able to go through the middle last year. Dan Curtin probably wasn't tooled up to be able to play through the middle. Luke Pedler's another one who's ill today, but had a great pre-season and has the ability to play in the middle of the ground. So I reckon there's 3 or 4 players who have Josh Rochelle is another, who have the ability to move in and make an impact through the middle of the ground, as well as someone like a Sam Berry continuing to develop their craft, and Jake Sligo and James Peatling are others that can do the same. So if you can add a little bit in that part of the ground, obviously the draw is a little bit tougher, and it's going to be difficult to win 18 games again. But I think Adelaide should be, looking and confident that they should be pushing to be inside the top 4 again this year. Got some good weapons in Thilthorpe, obviously, in the front half. Walker looks fit, and I think they'll probably have the depth to be able to manage him a bit better in terms of how much or how many games he plays. Darcy Fogarty has got he's got some expectation on him this year to step up. I thought he was great early last year before just fading out of it a little bit in the second half. So I'm hoping that he can have a strong, consistent year.
Back half of this quarter, I just noticed the scoreboard's been manipulated again by the coaches. So we're now effectively, 8 points the difference. So some scenario based here in the last part of this game. So this will be no doubt the coaches are just trying to replicate some tight games that may or may not happen throughout the course of the year. And both teams, both the yellow and the blue team, just working through what sort of decision making they're going to do in different scenarios.
Yes,
so
that's it. So the yellow team will be looking to maintain possession because they're 8 points in front, and the blue team are trying to, it's green light, it's go, 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 knowing that they have to score 2 goals in relatively quick time. So here we go. Just Tahini feeding the ball back.
Rain.
Yeah. Oh, there's Max Michaelani, just drops a mark he normally would take. Ball on the deck. So there'll be a ball up here. So this might be one where the blue team will be looking to get someone on the bolt, get through there, see if they can run this ball out of their D50 and get up the other end and score. Some numbers there for the blue team. Got to try not to rush it through, keep the ball alive. Here we go. Comes down to Mitch Marsh, but he's just out of position there. The yellow team, Sam Berry, just overused that there. Joshua Shelley gets an opportunity and misses.
Looks like Eddie Cotton's gone behind the ball in a defensive role for the yellow team.
Yeah.
So he just gets another look at a different position, and that's a pretty cool experience for him.
Yeah. So the blue team now, 9 points, trying to switch the play. They've got an overlap runner here. Braden Cook doesn't want to take his man into that space, so leaves that.
That's Indy there, just...
there's a handball there, you would have thought. But they've gone long, and that's a nice mark, isn't it? So chose the one-on-one contest down the park rather than handballing to Zach Taylor, and the skipper didn't let him down. So now if he can kick this, it'll make it very interesting. We'll get it to within 3 points. So there's some good ball movement there from D50, taking it the length of the field.
Pretty handy resource to have. Is skipper just playing out of the goal square there?
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why they want to add to the depth of their midfield, because Jordan Dawson kicks beautifully. So now it makes it very interesting. With under 10 minutes to play, and we'll have a look at some of the scenario-based stuff. But yeah, if you can add to the depth of your midfield, then if the game is going against you, you can put Jordan Dawson to half back. We know he can be creative back there. You can put him in front of the ball, and he's excellent overhead for his size. So yeah, it just gives you a few more tools at your disposal, because that was part of the problem late last year in the finals. That the game was going against Adelaide, but they didn't really have a lot at their disposal to change it up to make it better, and so a little bit hamstrung due to the some of the players that weren't available to them.
It'd also be a pretty hard matchup too for any opposition team, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, and it also, like what happened last year was it was a bit Jordan Dawson or bust, so teams did put a lot of energy into stopping him around the footy. So if you can start him outside the square, or if he is being sat on, take him to different parts of the ground, then that certainly gives you some more options as well. As James Peatling there received the handball, had a long shot at goal, just off line. So 2 points the difference now. See how the yellows respond. Probably a bit long to go before they try and possess the footy. But that's a nice kick from Miller.
James Richards at the ball here, former Sturt player, played in the 2023 SANFL Grand Final, so he comes to the club with a wealth of experience. So he's another one that we can lean upon at state league level, just to provide some, mature body and experience around some of our younger players, which is awesome.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, the blue team there, Rory Laird, just dropped the middle mark. There's a 2-on-1 here, so it looks like Finbar Maley picks the ball up, gets the handball out. Ben Keays loves a goal, and just dragged it back too far. I think he might have kicked 2 or 3 already today, Ben Keays, and that one there, probably one of the easier shots he's had today, and just missed to the near side. blue team. Nice kick from Borlace. Oh, that handball just hits the deck. Makes it a bit sloppy. Blue team just trying to get the ball forward. Jordan Dawson, how clean was that? And kicks a goal. And that's exciting for Crows fans, I think, when you can just see what he can do. We know he's just been a star player for them in the middle of the ground, but his ability to win one-on-one contests and be clean and use the footy, that was all on display there. So, yeah, a bit of an education for young Tom Bell, who's a train-on player, a young player, and he's having to stand one of the absolute guns of the AFL. So
it's been good today, though, Tom. Like
Absolutely.
he's been had a lot of ball in hand, lots of opportunities to show his prowess as well, and his intercept marking is one of the things which he came to the club. That was his strength. That was his weapon. We've obviously seen that on show today, which has been awesome.
Yeah, didn't do a lot wrong. Just outbodied by Jordan Dawson, I think. Hugh Bonds now picked up Jordan Dawson. So once again, we know Hugh Bonds one of the more competitive players on Adelaide's list, so that'll be interesting to watch how that goes. Probably giving up a couple of inches.
Down to the last 6 minutes, so 3 points of difference. Let's see how some of these scenarios play out.
Yeah, so there's Peatling again, out of the middle on his left foot. That goes out of bounds, but it won't be a free kick because it's inside the forward 50. So the blue team, last couple got on top in the centre square, so big Riley O'Brien getting his hands on it. Boundary throw in. Riley Thilthorpe and Lockie McAndrew go against each other in the ruck. McAndrew won the ball, got it down. There's Bell, gets the ball forward. Jordan Butts flies, couldn't take it. Finbar Maley was good on the ground, gets it forward. It's a 1v2. Oh, nice body work there. James Richards there. As you said, you caught him with a strong body. He gets that there, he's kicked it up. It's a good punch on the leg too. That's a free kick. Would have thought so. Players don't agree, but we're 150 metres away and it looked like a free kick. So, Cam Tahini. So James Richards to Cam Tahini, a few of the SANFL development players getting involved. And most likely we'll put the yellow team back in front. So Jordan Dawson just coming off. That makes me feel a bit more comfortable. I don't mind that at all.
Reckon that a bit for the day, you reckon, Bix?
Or just I'd tell him to put the dressing gown on and put a double knot in it. Mitch Marsh comes off as well. So there's Cam Tahini. Hits that flush. Goal umpire hardly moved. Yellow team back in front now. So interesting as we get down to the last 3 minutes, we see whether they will use any tactics. It was 4 minutes 16 on the clock. Probably be under 4 minutes by the time the ball bounces. So generally it's probably two minutes, 2.5 minutes. You can generally protect the footy. If you go a bit defensive before that, you do sort of give your opposition time to get organised and shut the loose player down, and then force you to kick to a contest. So we'll just watch, see how this unfolds.
Just for the benefit of those guys who've tuned in, obviously if you're looking at the score and you're seeing 20 goals 6 to 20 goals 9, it has been manipulated. Yes. So you haven't missed a blockbuster game. It's actually been, the scoreline's been manoeuvred around by the coaches.
Yeah, and so I'm just looking at both benches. They've both got sort of these different signs up to send a message to the different sides, the ones that in front, the one behind. Good work by Riley O'Brien, sort of laying a tackle and holding the ball in the area. So Sam Berry wins another clearance. He had 4 or 5 centre clearances. So the ball comes free. Oh, advantage. Oh, that's not ideal for the umpire there. I think that's probably the right call. The ball was free. Jordan Butt's not all that happy. Darcy Fogarty. So that's number 11. Charlie Edwards. Yeah, so great confidence by Darcy Fogarty to give it to young Charlie Edwards. So Darcy Fogarty doesn't normally pass inside forward 50, but it probably says a little bit about the time in the game. So just chewed up a few seconds. He knows that Edwards can take the full 30 seconds. He's turning around looking at the clock. He'll try and take his full allotted time. And has a shot, and he's missed. So now it does open the door for the blue team. They've got 2 minutes 20.
Going green, Bix, are you? Surely, if you're blue.
Straight down the ground. They've got to go fast. Toby Murray wins it. He'd be looking for someone to screen past. No one there. Goes back, tries to get it inside 450. That's a good mark. Who was it? Sorry?
Will Crane, one of our development players.
Okay, that's a good result there. And now they just want to keep chipping it around. Can they chew up a minute 53? So you can hear Taylor Walker screaming from the bench about what he's wanting some of his players to do. Hasn't been able to find a teammate, but it's been won well by the yellow team. Darcy Fogarty finds himself on his own, gives a handball out to Ben Keays. Now they look for a mark here. Can they get a mark to try and slow this down? Almost got one.
Good tackle.
And that's holding the ball.
That's a great tackle.
So that's just that sloppy kick from Fogarty. If that's a mark, he goes back and once again chews another 20 seconds on the clock. Now the blue team has one last chance. So the ball comes inboard to Butts. And then there's James Peatling. Peatling gets it out. That's a good smother there by Darcy Fogarty. And that might be enough now. Now Ben Keays, can he find a mark? And he can. The umpire said it's not 15. So Charlie Edwards has another chance to kick a goal. And I think he's made up for the one that he missed 30 seconds ago. And that probably puts the game beyond doubt with 48 seconds on the clock. And the yellow team now just greater than a goal in front. So interesting though to watch, and the yellow team were very much aware of what they had to do, trying to find a mark. I think they've seen enough. The Adelaide coaching staff, they blow the whistle, don't wait for the siren, and that's it. So there we go. I think the most successful part of this is that Adelaide can all breathe a sigh of relief. There's no injuries from today's game, which is always a risk when you're playing two full teams against each other, but it looks like that's nothing to worry about. And there's also been some really nice performances from both senior and some of the newer players as well. So, yeah, I think the coaching staff will be pretty happy.
Absolutely. I think you've hit the nail on the head. This time of year, any trial you can get through without any injuries, given the run we've had just recently as well too. It's a good hit out. So, but yeah, as I said, we now move off to the trials against opposition team. We've got Port Adelaide next Friday night at Alberton in a SANFL and an AFL trial. And then, as I said, the AFL boys start to hit the road. They go to Fremantle the week after and then have a week off and then load up for Collingwood in round one.
So are you aware of the philosophy for next week? Will they pick a really strong side, do you think?
It's a good question. Yeah, it's a good question. It's something that obviously the coaches will nut out, obviously, after today's game. And I would imagine there'd be some discussions around trying to settle the group down. Obviously, we're only effectively 2 trial games away from round one. So without speaking to the coaches, I would imagine that there'd be some degree of settlement.
Yeah, well, look, a lot of the talking points today from where I sat will be a little bit around the ruck. I thought Lockie McAndrew jumped really well in the middle, so that's certainly, he's elevated his name into the frame in terms of being a really strong chance to lead the ruck. I think Adelaide would be wrapped with some of their more experienced players, or even when I say experienced, I'm talking about Rankin looked strong, Rochelle looked great, Dawson, the longer the game went, he looked really classy, and then some of the newer players as well. Zach Foote had some really nice moments. Tom Bell as well as 2 train-on players. They've certainly done their chances no harm. So some nice things to come out of the game. And that's where we'll leave it from Port Augusta here. Thank you to you, Jarrod Meers, who does a lot of work with both the SANFL and the Academies at the Adelaide Footy Club and shared some great insights with some of those development players and younger players. And of course, myself, Mark Bickley, just saying thank you for tuning in to the Adelaide Football Club website for the live stream of this internal trial.
And as we head into next season, the challenge is simple for all of us. We need to stay passionate, we need to keep believing in who we are, and as my mum demands, we need to put our fucking head over. Back into it. Okay.